Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Salt the Streets podcast, the most pro-America anti-government show the show where we discuss news, government. He just got to get his word in edgewise.
I'm here.
But yeah, we discuss news, government, and culture and how it pertains to you, the individual, and your natural rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
You got it. You know what the document says. You know what the document
I was like,
says.
wait a minute. I am, of course, your big bird-looking fella they call Colin. I'm helping to co-host this show. This is a sloppy opening.
You got it. You're in it.
And I'm, of course, joined by the man himself, the namesake of the show, the original Salt of the Streets himself, a very sagacious man, if I do say so myself. Donovan Phillips, how are you today, good sir?
Thank you very much. I'm excellent.
And we are indeed today joined by a very special guest, Mr. Brine himself.
Salty dog.
Straight out of the chat, the salty dog. I like it.
What's going on?
Welcome in,
Thanks
buddy.
for having me.
So good to have you here.
Thank you for joining
Yeah,
us.
very excited.
So
Ready.
Donovan, what are we going to talk about today? It's a very special episode, really.
Yeah. It's pretty much a grab bag show. Is kind of how it's working out.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, some rough topics that we have going. We have a couple of things that we're talking about. We have a ton of listener request questions, like discussion style topics that we're going to go over. Brian wants to talk about unions a little bit. Of course, we have some Hunter Biden updates because of some things that happened with his plea deal and whatnot. We have a little bit of Ukraine talk. Really, I just only have one story on that I want to go over.
Does it involve the Wagner Group?
It does not.
I have
so
a little Wagner
two stories
to add
then.
in
No,
there.
mine has to do with, and it's actually a little bit of an older story that somehow slipped past us. It has to do with a Rebuild Ukraine fund that was started by BlackRock and JP Morgan.
Yes.
They signed on to it in May. So
They're the dudes that are going to rebuild the entire
How
country
hard
after
can I
we
hit
destroy
my
it.
head off this desk?
I mean,
I would suggest the faux brick behind you, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
If you really want to go for the knockout blow, you know.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows kind of where we're headed with it, I immediately looked up Halliburton 2008. So that's kind of where that seems to be what this situation is going to turn out to be. Yeah, so
makes sense.
We'll dive into that a little bit. Then of course we have grab bag. You've said of
it's
an
a heavy
overflowing
grab
bag.
It
today,
is.
So.
It's just gonna rain down upon us.
I like it.
Some of it's we're trying to do this new thing, right? Where the more heavy hitting kind of fucked up things are towards the front end.
Yeah.
And then we finish off with a nice little sweetness on the end, because the internet is indeed glorious. And we want to, end the show with a little bit of a white pill moment if we can. Some little cute animals or something like that. We tried that last episode. I think it worked out pretty well. So
I like it.
That kid thing you guys showed was
dude.
smart work.
The grab bag is fire, dude.
Yeah, grab bag that's where I live.
Was it the treasure chest, I believe?
Yeah, they were digging up these parents. If you guys missed it, these parents decided to give their little daughter the greatest experience a kid can have on the beach, and they found a little plastic treasure chest and then filled it with shells and little fake coins and stuff like that, and then buried it just kind of where they were sitting, and then their daughter was just digging along, and then all of a sudden found it. It was like, oh my God, I found all this treasure, man.
Super cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. But of course, it's been 2 weeks since we've been together. I've had quite the eventful couple weeks, and I basically missed you all last week. So what's been going down?
Yeah, no, before we continue, of course, I have to remind everybody to evaluate and adjust your relationship with the CCP. This is what we do in the beginning of every episode, to look at the different ways that you're involving yourself with the Chinese government, try and limit those as much as possible. And of course, this segment, the show, every show after this, and before this, is executively produced by Zeke. So
the man,
if you want
the
to also
legend
become
himself.
Oh,
Oh,
an executive producer, make sure you go to the Patreon, patreon.com/saltofthestreets. Go there, subscribe, and we'll make more better content just like this. You can find us, of course, on our own personal social media. I'm at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. And Colin is at Big Bird Offie on both those things. I left it in the front seat of my car on range day last week in the
got
sun.
a little toasty?
It did get a little suctioned.
Yeah, it did.
It did. I
What
noticed that on
happened
Monday.
here?
Yeah.
It's partially my fault. I apologize.
No, I took some too after that and just tossed it right into my front seat. So
Mind if I take a
go for
dose?
it. Go for it.
Kind of have
I didn't think it was too bad. I think it was just direct sun.
Well, I saw that sunburn picture, and I posted
Woo!
mine. Yeah,
I did. I got-
those rock walls.
You
are
got
not
heated?
kind.
I did. I got sunburned. I'm very brown now. The farmer's tan is very real because of the.
I'm red.
But I was peeling a little bit on my face. That was really it, my face. But I felt it on the ride home. The sun was hitting my arm through the window, and I was like, that's hot.
hate
And I was like,
that.
oh, that's not a good sign. I
No.
was like, it's not that hot outside.
Dude.
That's not a good sign.
I did that when I was road tripping from East Coast to West Coast the last time, because it was in the middle of summer when we were driving out here, and it was fucking hot through the Midwest and all that. And I noticed after a couple days, I was like, I got to start putting like a long sleeve down on this side because it starts to, just the one side getting toasted every day for 10 or 12 hours a day. It's rough business out there. And you say you drive truck?
Yep.
You got a problem with that? You know, you got to ever switch your arms around?
Noticed, yeah, for sure. I can guarantee you this left arm is a lot darker than the right.
Yeah, that's
especially
hilarious.
when we're sitting in that 16 traffic sometimes.
Ooh, oh my God, I bet.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Last week was chill. Last weekend went shooting, Ambleman, right? When I was shooting Ambleman last weekend, so that was good. Brian taught a little radio course. That was nice. So a little
I can't
intro
wait to get my radio loaded.
Yeah,
definitely take the fill. It's too bad I have my PC here.
That's right.
yeah, I have the file and everything too because it's all on Signal, so we can totally do that anytime.
Just got to get her charged up.
Yeah, but it was good. That was really it. Just keeping it chill. And then I went swimming on Sunday. You know, taking the kids to the
that's right.
pool.
That's right.
So
Dak's a good swimmer, Nick?
yeah, he's getting the other. We were just talking about that on the way here. Actually, he still has like the water wings and whatnot, but he's getting the. You know, we work on the positions, the kicking and the whatnot. Just loves the fins, so and they only work if you do it correctly. So that's
a good way to teach it.
Yeah, so that helps a lot with the kicking
That's
thing.
good. Yeah,
if you don't.
Where I'm at, get my son vertical or horizontal rather.
Yeah, and he loves swimming. He doesn't like to get underneath the water. I think it's a kid thing, you know, but so because he likes to jump in and he likes getting under his head on accident, you know, but not like if you ask him, he won't tell you yes. Like he doesn't want to jump in, but if you toss him in, you know,
He's like, yeah.
So
well, that's fun.
he likes a light toss, you know. He'll tell you like, don't put my head under, but then he'll jump in and if you like dip him under.
Yeah.
No, he'll get there.
I just remember that feeling all too well when I was a kid. And it was terrifying to be underwater, but then it was like, oh my God, that was so much fun. It was so much fun.
He loves, like, he'll take the diving toys, you know, like a submarine thing, and he'll throw the submarine. Daddy, go get it. And so he loves that. Like, he likes the idea of going underwater.
Fetch, Daddy, fetch.
Loves that. Yeah, and sometimes the lifeguards are real assholes, but sometimes they're real chill. And so the assholes will make you keep them in the shallow end, but if it's a chill, then, like, as long as you're with your child in the deep end and they have a vest on, then they don't care, you know, because they're not going to fucking drown.
No, what are we going to do? They're just getting in the way at that point.
Yeah,
if that's the problem.
2 times ago, we went to the lifeguards mad chill, so I was diving down 8 feet every couple minutes. And at the end, I was like, well, I'm fucking tired. I'm dead. Like, I was smoke all the time. Like, I'm fucking hitting the weed all the time. Like, I'm dead. Like, I'm dying right now. So it doesn't feel like it's far, but that's deep down there. Yeah.
Where do you go? What pool?
Just the Kitsap Tennis and Athletic Club. It's like right off of Fairgrounds in East Bremerton.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
So
over
at the
by
bottom,
by the fairgrounds.
Yeah. So at the bottom of Fairgrounds Road, where it hits Highway 303, there's like a Burger King and a gas station, and then kitty corner, there's another gas station.
Yeah.
So up the hill, away from the fairgrounds,
yeah,
just right on the side is the Tennis and Athletic Club.
So
it's kind of tucked behind the woods, so you don't see it.
Oh, okay. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't recognize it.
Unless even the sign is kind of in their driveway, so you don't see it unless you're driving past it.
I'll have to keep an eye out when I'm around there next time.
It's like $10 a person, and I think kids under 5 or 6 are free.
Oh,
and
so you just go for the day. Use the pool.
Yeah, they just do public swimming from whatever, like 11 to 6 or something like that.
That'll be good for when
we
don't have the lake in the wintertime.
It's super cool. Yeah, and they're open all the time. So yeah, all year. So we'll go winter and summer in the last. Sometimes it's just us, which is it's a large pool. It's not Olympic size, but it's a large pool, and it's just the 4 of us. It's 2 adults and 2 children.
Wow.
And then the lifeguards are like, save your own kids. You're fine. So they fuck off, you know.
You guys got this? We're
it's very cool. There's music most of the time that they'll play, so they'll fuck around with it, switch it around if you want. It's a good spot. Yeah.
Very nice.
Cool.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So quite the chill couple weeks is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah,
Well,
for
we
sure.
did because we did have my birthday last weekend, right?
Yep, last Friday, not yesterday, but the week before.
And that turned out to be a good fucking night.
Went to Echoes, had some beers, had some cupcakes, played some whatever dildo fucking darts, whatever that game is.
Pop darts, bro.
Yeah, it's like these darts that have suction cups on both sides, but they look like dildos. They look like
they're
small
like real
sexual
flexy
toys.
things.
Yeah, and so you put a
Little
cup.
sexual toys. Get your fucking mind out of the gutter
right.
there, big shoes.
I wasn't the only one who said that.
double suction cup dildo.
Precisely. Yeah.
I'm going to fucking pull them up because I will not let you besmirch the good name of Pop Darts.
Yeah, not sure how you'd use that, but
but it looks like that's. I'm saying I wasn't the only one who said that, so it can't just be me.
So you throw it on a kind of like a what do they call
yeah,
that?
either
game?
like a
beanbag.
You
could
put
do
this
that.
on the table, this orange thing, and then
Yeah.
you toss these things at it to try and get it on there. So they hit the table
Oh,
and they like,
okay.
you know, they fucking. It's the whole thing. It's not just the appearance of these.
Yeah.
It's also the way that
So
they
it's like
move
bocce ball and darts
Yeah.
kind of all
Yes.
mixed into one.
All
Interesting.
wrapped
Yeah, and they do
together.
have these boards that you can get set up like a cornhole board.
That's cool.
I fucking played a couple rounds of cornhole last night when I was after officiating the wedding.
I wasn't sure where you were going with this, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
wasn't sure if you were trying to get me to here or what we were going at with the "What did you do this week?" Okay,
I just want to talk about everything I've been doing.
well, that's because
all.
you were laid up all week, so you also didn't do shit. So I
exactly.
was like, "Where are we going with this?" Okay, so last
Yeah.
night, yes,
Yes,
you had a
last
very
night,
special event
I
yesterday.
did. I have a mug now.
You even got a mug.
That says the best officiant ever.
Look
and it
at
says,
you.
Thank you for being a part of our special day and marrying us.
That's very nice.
Because I went online and got ordained because when a friend asks for help, you help them, right? And they
Yeah.
needed somebody to officiate their wedding because they need to get married real quick. And so Brine asked me on my birthday when I'm fucking shithoused. We're just joking, and I was like, I'll fucking do that. I'll officiate, you know. I'll go online tonight and get ordained. And then she texted me the next day. I was like, so were you, like, serious about that? Or were you just talking out your drunk ass? And I was
Yeah.
like, no, I literally did it this morning before you texted me. It's like, okay, good, because we'll need you.
Nice.
And that's within 6 days. They planned out this whole fucking wedding. Had about 30 people there. Food, I mean, music, the
Good
whole
for
9
them.
yards, man. Great fucking venue out in Port Orchard. It was a really, really, really good fucking night. Saw a bunch of people, you know. Mom came with me,
Mm-hmm.
and then my brother came with his girlfriend, and a couple of guys from soccer were there. You remember Al from soccer?
No.
Okay. He also is my Amazon driver, which is hilarious.
Oh, okay, I remember
Yeah.
you talking about.
He
I don't know
lives-
that I've ever met him before. But
Oh yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he actually, it turns out he lives next door to the venue. And so he and his family came and were a part of the wedding and stuff too. It was a really, really good fucking time. And so, and then I talked to the venue owners and they're like, yeah, if we get anybody, because they're just kind of starting, this was like their pilot program to see how
What
this
is
property.
the venue?
It's like a farm.
Okay.
They have pigs and geese and
Yeah, this
you
is
know.
getting big. There's another one
Yeah.
that Jordan,
Oh, yeah.
that we've taken the kids to because they do like you can go there during the day and like buy eggs and just see the animals and shit. But then they're also starting to do. This is where Aaron's birthday party was. I don't remember
Oh.
what the fuck I was doing. The
Okay.
kids were sick or something. I didn't go to it, but that's where the birthday party was. So that's getting very big. This whole outside rustic farm themed
And it was
fucking.
real classy too.
Yeah.
Real. I mean, everything was all done up really, really nice.
Right.
They've put a lot of work in that property. It was very cool. Turns out Case Bulls does their horses, which is hilarious.
he does.
It's just all the fucking ties
The
all
same guy
coming together.
that we did the power hour with.
Yeah, the video we watched
He-
before the show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
He's,
yeah.
he's a
Sitting on the
farrier
couch.
now.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's a
wow.
farrier now.
Interesting. How
That's
did
what-
you get into that? That's
Colin's brother is a farrier.
Yeah.
Oh.
Been doing it
and-
now for fucking over a decade.
It's the weirdest fucking thing. It's very random.
That is
And
super
Casey,
weird.
hard work too. It looks like
Oh, yeah.
what I've seen on YouTube.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and and the dude
Dirty work.
smells
Yeah.
all the time.
Oh yeah.
It just smells like horse shit
Like-
all the time.
Casey was doing bovine podiatry first, so he was doing cow feet.
Okay.
And then
Which is
Bovine
fun
podiatry.
because that's just this crazy ass contraption that like
you lock them
you
into
lock
it.
them into this little like stockade,
The cows.
and then hydraulically lifts them sideways, and then you go out there with a fucking DeWalt power grinder, and then just grind their fucking hooves
Yeah.
down. It's wild.
And then he got him
Oh,
with the
man.
farriers because he was doing
Yeah.
stuff with the fair, and so he met all these horse people, and then got in with
Started wearing cowboy boots
Went to
and a
farrier
hat.
school. He was working with us for a while, and
Yeah.
then was like, "I'm done here," and went to farrier school, and then
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
a full-on cowboy now.
That's right. Yee
Yeah.
yee.
Played baseball in college. Now he's a cowboy. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah,
Happens fast.
he's a good guy.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude. We love him a lot. He's just the whole family is fucking great.
Yeah.
What can I say?
And he does these people's horses.
Yes.
It's a small ass county.
It's a small ass county. Well, especially with horse people. There's only
Oh yeah, I bet.
and there's so many of them, but everybody knows everybody in some way. You're like 1 or 2
Casey-
degrees away from somebody.
Casey's got some stat about like we have like the most horses per capita in the county or in the country or something like that, right? There's
I
like
would not doubt
there's
it.
like something like that.
Yeah, because we're not really a real rural area.
Right.
We got a lot of trees and shit, but it's like the space to have horses. It's small enough that tons of people fucking have them, you know. And there's a bunch of big ass barns with big ass properties that board a ton of horses too. So fucking everybody's got fucking horses around here, man.
Yeah.
I grew up with them. That's
We got
so it's
a
everywhere.
Trooper, right? That was your horse's name?
I had a bunch of them growing up, but yeah, River,
like-
Trooper. I think was the
Most
last
recent
one.
one,
Either
yeah.
that or Cody. I think it might have been Cody too. I don't know. I've had a fucking ton of horses, bro. Nutmeg was one of them. This
Nutmeg.
big, yeah, she looked like a woolly mammoth, but like really squat and short. Kind of a pony, but technically still a horse. And was just always like shaggy.
Yeah.
And she didn't listen to shit.
You cut a
She
horse's
just-
hair?
I mean, you can, yeah. Some people do shave, particularly in the summertime, certain areas that are going to be, have a lot of like, people put on like different fly masks and stuff like that. So a lot of times they'll shave their hair down where everything kind of rubs against the skin just to
Okay.
cut down on the heat and the sweat a little bit. But
Yeah. I also didn't know. I dated a couple of horse girls in high school, and I didn't
That's
know.
problematic.
But it is.
they all are.
I was always told don't do that.
Yes.
It's a bad. It's yeah. I will tell. I
The
went.
expectations are high.
yeah,
I
especially
went-
rodeo gals.
Yeah, I went into a rodeo thing for a weekend, and the best time I had was the time I eventually volunteered to get up and feed the horse in the morning, because it's like 4 a.m. or whatever. That was the best time I had. The time I spent alone with the horse in the morning, getting
Yeah.
high,
Yeah.
was the best time I had all weekend.
Yeah, I bet.
Getting
Did you get the
high,
horse
Just
high?
vibing.
I was scared that she would know, and I wasn't sure if it would work. So I just was like hanging out with the horse, smoking, and would just talk to the horse, and just feed it, and just fucking. Then the rodeo stuff would start, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is horrible. This is just a day's worth of watching people fucking yeah," and it's just so fucking gay, dude. It's just so not my
It's
thing.
not your thing, huh?
Oh, but I didn't know until then the horses sweat. Like I didn't.
I was gonna ask, do they sweat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
like
Okay.
They get
lot.
real sweaty.
Interesting.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
take because they'll put like a blanket on and then put the saddle on, like a lot of times. And when you
Yeah.
take that shit off, yeah, they're fucking sweating.
Yeah, because I know most animals don't sweat.
Right.
They pant for. They
It's
get rid of
weird.
heat.
Horses are fucking weird, bro. It's
And it's fucking nasty when they do it too. It's real.
They
Like
smell
it
bad.
gets all foamy and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Usually because
Oh,
like their
nasty,
stuff's
yeah.
gross, dude.
Yeah.
That looks like something else.
And a
But yeah, and it's usually where they're like
Yeah.
something's rubbing against them, and so they
Yeah.
just it doesn't breathe
That's
as well.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh, yeah.
and the smell of like a dirty horse is very unique. You know, it's
Yeah.
pretty disgusting.
Yeah, you're gonna smell like it for about a week.
When we were at Christine's house a couple weeks ago, I was petting all this horse and didn't think about it, and then I like rubbed my face and I was like, "Oh, it smells
Yeah.
like a horse.
Yeah,
Oh
and,
god."
And see, Chad and Casey now just smell like that all the time. That's
Yeah.
just they're always smelling like
Casey
that
will
now.
come into work, he'll come give me a hug, and I'm like, "Ooh, you smell like a horse, dude. You smell like just a ton of horses." Yeah.
It's like it took my brother just got a new truck relatively like within a month or so.
yeah, not too
probably.
long ago.
Big ass F-350 diesel. It took maybe 2 weeks for that thing to like get rid of. It just kills the new car smell, and then now just smells like barrier,
Wow.
like sweat, bo, and horse, and it never goes away either.
That's rough.
Good luck with that one.
Have you ever ridden a horse before?
I
Ooh.
think maybe my 5th or 6th birthday. I have a picture of my front yard. And,
Oh, there you go.
Like, suburb New York.
Get the
Yeah.
old
Ride a
farm
little
out there.
pony, yeah,
You used to
yeah.
live in New York.
Yeah.
Where out in New York?
Long Island.
Strong Island.
Strong
Oh,
Island.
that's
Long
right.
Island.
Long Island.
Yep.
Yeah,
On
look-
the North Shore out there. Nice little
Oh,
suburb, beautiful area.
Yeah, Center
it.
Island, kind of like.
Yeah, pretty
more
much
towards
dead
the
center.
city.
I'm like equal to the city than I am all the way out east
Oh,
to, the,
fuck yeah.
to the point. So you could do city in the morning, beach at night, vice versa.
It's
pretty
fucking.
sweet area.
It's a good spot.
Oh
dude.
yeah, I love it.
So yeah, explain to me.
I look back on this
Here, yeah,
this
zoom
place
in-
with
zoom
great
into
love.
The island,
Yeah.
North Shore. There's a couple of go to the right a bit.
There's
Port Jefferson
Huntington,
area.
Port Jeff.
Yep, and then I'm Miller Place right there.
Oh fuck yeah!
Right on the water.
God.
Okay.
I used to live right. It wasn't called Willow Creek back then.
You live near the Willow Creek Golf Course?
I don't know if it was.
Oh,
it
dude,
doesn't
you and
look
I were a
familiar.
stone's throw away. I mean, we were
I mean, either way, it was
were
real close to that.
like Mount Sinai.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it
no
wasn't
way.
quite because the Stop and Shop's over there. I remember going up there to go grocery shopping.
Yeah, and that's
25A.
That's North Ocean
South.
Ave right there.
It was like the only real like public golf course in Long Island at the time.
There's one right in Rocky Point called
Pine Ridge. That's what it
Pine
was.
Ridge.
Pine
Okay.
Ridge. Yeah, fucking.
Wow, dude, you and I lived like
real
we
fucking
were
close
right next
to each other.
Yeah.
What years
That's
were you
crazy.
living there?
Oh, let's see. That was like. Oh.
Can I see the mouse real quick?
Oh yeah. Navigate away, good
You
sir.
could even leave it there. I got big arms. Oh, where'd we go?
Oh, I just accidentally opened a new tab by accident. Got hotkeys
So
on
you
that
were
fucking
you were
mouse.
over by Pine Ridge.
Yeah.
I'm like right down in here.
Oh
That's
shit.
the house right there. So we were real
Wow.
close.
Real close. Yeah,
Crazy.
so this must have been 2006 through 9 or something like that I lived out there.
I left in 11.
Oh yeah.
And I tell people, like, if you see where my house was there, all that pine barrens.
Oh yeah.
I say everything east of me is basically forest to the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Everything west of me is suburb to the city. So like it's a real cool spot. You can kind of see just how. The
Oh, yeah.
terrain
Yeah.
changes from
Yeah,
the
it's
set.
like perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that area. Love Port Jeff, just beautiful town.
Oh yeah. I had a couple good friends from that's where you hear the big university talked about a lot. Stony Brook.
Stony Brook.
Stony Brook's right out there.
All the
Okay.
Yeah,
doctors.
the big. Oh yeah, see, there's fucking Stony Brook right there.
Yeah.
That's yeah, so many good times in Long Island, bro. Because it's everything you could want, essentially.
Zeke.
You're close to the
EP
city.
himself.
You got South Shore Beach is kind of like more Miami-ish vibes. North Shore is a little bit more chill.
South Shore beaches. I mean, I think they're a hidden gem. I've been to
Oh,
all
yeah.
the beaches up and down the East Coast. Like a lot of them through the Army days, and they're just not as nice as the powder sands of,
No,
of the
dude.
South Shore of Long Island. It's
It's
just,
crazy. We were going through this last episode, I think, and it
Yes.
was blowing your fucking
Yes.
mind that like there's a whole island out here. Because I
Yeah.
used to work right on the other side of
Robert
Robert
Moses
Moses
Park,
at the
yeah.
Coast Guard station.
Yeah, I'm not.
oh, you were out there with the Coast Guard.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I was
okay.
doing back
Oh,
then.
what a
It was
man,
a good
could
spot.
You get a better spot?
Fuck no,
Dude,
not
that's-
even a little bit.
That's well, maybe not in February, but
Yeah, well,
could,
yeah.
could be Alaska.
I sung your praises for a moment last weekend when he was doing the radio course because he was saying one of the channels he put in the radios is for the Coast Guard, and he was
Oh, yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're in the shit anywhere, just call the Coast Guard. He's like,
Yeah.
because they operate anywhere. He's like they fuck.
Channel
And
16,
and
baby.
I said, call the Coast Guard. I said the Coast Guard does in fact fuck, and that's
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about it many times, and he's never really had a bad thing to say about his experience and. A lot of positive things about like we're the only. I don't remember exactly the line.
We're the
is,
only
but-
military branch that makes a living saving people instead of killing them. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Very
Which
true.
is also why you're not usually directly under the DoD.
Yeah,
Unless during
you're
times
kind of like
war.
a little bit removed from
Yeah.
the operations. Of
Yeah, we're like
the normal
cops,
military.
paramedics, and like
I,
cops and paramedics.
I've been around a lot
really.
of coasties. I used to work for Safe Boats in Bremerton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for a brief period.
Oh yeah, that fucking exclusive contract right there, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the best thing when I first moved out there, right? I lived in Lindenhurst, which is down on the South Shore, real close to work and all that good stuff. But I lived right out. Oh shit! This is literally the road on fucking Bay Street next to this park, and I lived
Yeah.
in like must have been like that house right there. I think. Either that
you
or
were,
it's
like-
fucking gone now.
Walking distance to the beach there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But then during like storm season, I mean I was 2 feet maybe above water, and so during high tide, this whole street would flood
Yeah, that's
all the
No
way up to
shit.
the park, and so everybody that lived on these roads had fucking little dinghies and stuff tied to their porches during
Yeah.
parts of the year because you'd park your car up at the park, and then fucking raft down to your house.
That would
No
happen. on the
They're
north
all
side,
kind of
too.
lifted. Oh yeah,
You get a moon tide, and some of those bays would flow over.
yeah. The whole
Yeah.
fucking place is super low.
So-
One medium-sized wave, bro. It's just going over all of Long Island.
Are all the houses on stilts or something, or your house just gets fucked?
Kind of like the foundations are built up a little bit,
Okay.
and so people's basements might be flooding or something like that.
Yeah.
but your
but-
house is not going to get.
Nah.
You just put selective things in your
Well,
basement.
depends. We saw
It
what
just
happened
depends.
during Sandy.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm just meaning like a standard storm, like
Yeah.
you do. Yeah,
Yeah, because during Sandy Hook, I was living in Staten Island, and then working out of
Sandy or Sandy Hook.
But yes.
Sandy
Hurricane Sandy.
during Hurricane Sandy. My bad.
It's like Port Jefferson. It would flood all the time, all the way up.
Oh,
until,
yeah.
Like halfway up Main Street.
Fuck yeah.
Pretty deep.
Well, fucking shout out fellow New Yorker. Man.
Yeah,
That's
right.
cool.
Was it always like that, or just as time has gone on?
I mean,
As long as I.
yeah, it seemed to be very, very normal for everybody out there. It was just
Yeah.
something that happened during that time of year. I'd imagine all the houses are built to like deal with that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
once you get an actual hurricane, though, it kind of fucks everybody's shit up.
Well, and I'm just thinking further and further back in time, you know, like how many people's houses got fucked up before they were like, I either need to move or really kind of get my shit together.
Probably a gang of them.
Yeah.
Probably a
Because if
ton.
you're the first person to build your house there and then a storm comes in.
Well,
it
we
gets
don't get a lot of
destroyed,
hurricanes
you know?
up that far.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe one every couple years.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, which super sucked because being a part of the Coast Guard up there, like you have to, during all of hurricane season, like there's levels of readiness and shit you got to do. And so even if there's a hurricane like 2 days away, like 48 hours, if the tract gets anywhere near us, we got to take the fucking boat out. And then we just got to sit there and do fucking nothing at anchor until they lower the fucking warning down. So
What do you mean take the boat out? You didn't have a
ship.
boat in the water all the time? Oh,
the ship, yeah, we take the ship out and then have to go anchor it out and then just wait out until we get until they lower the status again or something
Yeah.
changes. Okay, now you guys go back in.
And it was rare to ever go that north.
Yeah, and so there'd be so much time just out there, and then you're out there just doing training and shit. Half the time it's on the fucking weekends, and it was just
So you got called out from hanging out to go
Oh,
do
yeah.
work bullshit.
yeah, all the time. It was all
Weak.
making that phone call, dude. Like if you were on duty, and then
you
they
have to call everyone.
the
in.
fucking email comes in and says, "All right, you got to fucking recall everybody." Damn it, let's go ruin some days. It was rough business. You got to call everybody on the fucking ship. All right, time to come back, guys. We're getting underway in fucking 6 hours.
And they just tell you to go
I'm
fuck yourself.
I'm lighting the mains off right now. Let's go.
They talk shit to you on the phone. They're all your friends, so obviously like
Everybody
they're
just
joking.
goes, "Man, fuck you." All right,
Yeah.
I'll see you in a few. I guess that's what I'd say too.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
I'm in Patchogue right now at the brick house.
Well, and that was the worst thing too. Is like during that fucking 6 months, whatever hurricane season is, unless you actually take leave, you got to be within recall
Yeah.
time. So like even if you're fucking around the city, it still may take you 4 hours to get back, just
Yeah.
depending on public transportation and shit. So you might get kind of fucked up if you really.
Nice public
Screwed
transit
you out
system
too far.
out there, though, huh? How easy
Oh,
it is to
bro.
take the train into the city.
Yeah,
I
'cause
wish we
the
got that
Long
here.
Island Railroad is like what Amtrak should be. It's fucking awesome. People use it all the time to get in and out of the city and get out to Long Island.
That just takes you into the city, and then you can get on like whatever
Subway
other
or
shit.
Yeah.
at that point, most people just go into Manhattan. They just walk
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually that. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good like centralized hub to get anywhere you want. Which
They're
is
just different train stations.
yeah, all
All this
along.
shit's foreign to me because it sucks up here, so people don't take it. You know, like
Oh, yeah.
you can take a
Yeah.
train to like California or whatever, but it also takes like 2 days. You know,
Yes.
it's not a fast thing.
And
like
there's
it-
and you're not sleeping.
No,
you're not in a
it's-
cabin,
no,
bro.
it's gonna be
not
weak,
like
yeah.
classy.
Well, you could take like the LIRR into Penn Station or something, let's say, and then get on an Amtrak and go up south or north up the East Coast.
Yeah.
Which I always do. Like when my friends were in college, I'd
Mm-hmm.
come take leave from the Army. I'd take the train into Manhattan, hop on the Amtrak, go up north, take a bus to their college town, hang out with them for a couple days.
Fuck yeah.
Really good way to move around. There's nothing like that out here. It's just
It
too
took
bad.
it took convincing to get people in Seattle to take light rail, and people do
Yeah.
it all the time now. But it was up for years before anybody did it consistently because I don't know, it was out of the way. It was foreign. People just weren't fucking
yeah.
used to it. You know, we don't even really take the bus out here. Jordan's never taken a city bus before.
Oh yeah.
I didn't drive
haven't
until
here.
I was
It's
over,
different out here.
like until I was almost 19. So I took
Yeah.
the city bus everywhere when I was in high school. But even most of my friends, we walked before we took the city bus. We
Yeah.
would walk across town.
Yeah.
That's just like, we just fucking walked. You didn't have a car, you just walk.
Fuck, man.
Lamborghinis. That's
Yeah,
the
like
way.
Lamborghini.
Yeah, that's
Lamborghinis.
the
Let's
only
go.
way, yeah.
Throw them skids on.
Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah, it's just so different out there because it's like literally the whole city is designed to like get people around through public transportation.
Right.
Like you're not supposed to be driving really. You
From
can,
what
and it's
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 if
interesting.
you live in the city, you
Game
owning a
over.
car is only if you're a multi-millionaire.
Dude,
Yeah.
my in-laws went for a very long time because they lived in Queens, and they went forever without owning a car. The only car they just left it down in Ecuador when they moved up here, and they drive
just left
that. They drive that like whenever they would go home or something like that. But then come up here, there's no need to have a car until one day my father-in-law decided it's time. Like, you know, we were moving up to Rhode Island, I think, at that point, and they wanted to have an easy way to come up and hang out and stuff like that. It's like, all right, we'll get a car.
You got to have a car if you're up there.
Yeah.
Rhode Island. there's
Yeah.
no-
And so they got a car, and I mean, you're living in Queens, man. Like, there's no parking around.
Yeah.
And you have to try to find a place to park, and then every like 2 or 3 days, you have to move your car to the other side of the road because of like
Ooh.
street
Oh,
sweeping.
jeez, yeah.
Because it's
In the
street
winter,
sweeping?
snowplow. There's just
Oh, dude.
signs stacked up on the pillars up
Yeah,
there.
so
Different
it's
laws.
fucking
like
terrible.
on those days, no one can park on that part of the street because they're going to sweep it.
Yep. And if you leave it there, which I might have at
And a bunch
certain
of
points,
people
but
do.
yeah, you just get a fucking massive ticket.
Really?
It was like $130 or something when I got it.
Oh, weak.
And then to go over bridges to the different parts, because like
Yes, we've
Yeah,
talked about that a
different
lot.
borough, yeah.
I'm
bro.
consistently shocked at how much the tolls to go from one place to another, and that
Yeah.
people pay them both ways every single day.
like a tractor trailer over a bridge out there is like over $100.
Yeah.
it's insane.
And they'll do it every day.
And they tell you like go take it at night. We'll cut the tolls I think in half or something.
Yeah.
If you do it at night.
Yeah, cut down on the traffic.
Which is just fucking insane to me.
Do you guys follow Louis Rossman at all? He's like a
I
Apple
don't,
repair
no.
guy. He's okay. Then, yeah, you guys need to look him up for sure. I'm gonna send you some videos. But
Okay.
he started as a Apple repair guide in New York City. He's
Okay.
and now he's really big in the right to repair. So that's why I'm surprised he got hurt.
Okay.
So he's super hardcore in the right to repair. And
John
he-
Deere and
Apple.
whatnot.
sorry.
John Deere and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, his nonprofit donated a lot to that Colorado lawsuit.
Has he ever been on Rogan or something? Like, this sounds familiar.
I believe he's been on Timcast.
Okay. Ooh, that
He's
might
got a
have been
huge.
where I've seen it.
I mean, he's got multiple millions of followers on,
Okay.
on YouTube subscribers. Rather.
What's his name again? I'm going to look him up real
Louis
quick.
Rossman.
Louis
But
Rossman.
yesterday he just did he rants in his couch basically now because he doesn't do board repair. Yep. That guy
Oh,
right
okay.
there.
Yeah. I remember seeing this dude.
And he was talking about electric bicycles.
There he is on his couch.
In
Yep.
Manhattan. And he rides around Manhattan on an electric bicycle, and he's talking about how that really is the best way to get around the boroughs.
Oh, yeah.
Is on an electric bike. And there was a big thing on the Queen, or what bridge was it? The George Washington Bridge, I think.
G-dubs.
Four
was during-
people got hit, and it was a big thing, and now they're trying to ban electric bikes, and it's like...
What?
If it
That's
saves
the
one life,
answer.
guys, if it
Yeah.
saves one
Yeah.
life, we're going to shut it down. Fuck
like-
down.
Because you can ride the bike on the street, and then it's fast because it's fucking
It can keep up with traffic, which is nice because you don't get hit by cars, and
yeah.
you know, if a lot of people were on electric bikes and they made some infrastructure for it back there, that would really solve, because nobody wants to take the subway, and because it's
Especially these days.
They
Yeah,
don't have
especially
bike
these
lanes and
days.
shit back there.
sorry.
They don't have bike lanes and stuff back there.
Some areas are like
The shit's
Yeah.
everywhere
real
out here.
paved and like they're
Depends.
closed off.
But like
in
just
some
alleyways
areas,
and stuff, but
yeah.
like it's
What is the
full of
Can't Stop
garbage.
Won't Stop
Yeah.
movie? Fuck.
What?
There's a movie about, and I think it's Joseph
Oh,
Gordon-Levitt,
where he's delivering stuff.
Yeah, he's like
we
a,
just
a
talked about this
messenger.
not
Yes.
that long ago.
Well, yeah, bike couriers out there for legal documents and stuff is a huge industry.
Huge,
We
bro.
talked about
Yeah.
that. That's got to be one of the only
Well, and
places.
that's
a
why
giant
people
city.
don't like these electric bikes, is because those couriers don't listen. They'll jump over your hood. They're insane, those guys. But that would
It's
be
called
a big
like
solution.
Premium
There
rich.
you go.
Fucking
I've never
great
seen- I've never
goddamn
seen
movie.
it.
I've also never seen. I knew
Ride
what he was
like
talking
this.
about.
Such a good fucking
Yeah,
movie.
and we then had a big conversation about how big cities have got to be the only place where this is still a career.
Yeah.
like where you can actually do this, because there's where nowhere else is a bicycle. The
Well,
best
and New York
place to
City's
fucking
flat
get
too.
somewhere
It's not like
fast.
Seattle where there's
Yeah.
these big hills. Like I don't even know if there are many hills at all. in
because it's
any
built
of
on
the-
an
think
island,
so.
right? So it's all just.
Oh,
on-
yeah.
on
I mean,
not
different
that islands have to be
islands,
flat,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
and
guess
this,
that makes sense.
yeah, he's riding his fucking fixie bike all over the place, delivering messages.
Yeah, because in Seattle that would be a real bitch.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
To
for
have to
sure.
ride a bicycle quickly.
Well,
anywhere
Seattle's
it
a lot
would be.
smaller too. Like
Yeah.
I don't think people grasp the difference between New York City and other.
It's fucking
Other
huge.
No,
cities.
yeah,
It's
I had
absolutely
him.
massive.
I had him draw me a map one day because I don't remember what I wasn't understanding. We were at work talking about. I don't remember what I wasn't understanding about these different places, but I was like, I need you to draw me a map, and then we talked about the scale, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
holy fucking shit! Like I just don't. Yeah, because like I said, I'm not well traveled. I've never been to California. Been to Michigan one time, Oregon, Canada one time. Like I've really never been many places. So.
Yeah, you're just based in the PNW. You're just
Yeah.
PNW through and
based.
through, bro.
Yeah, I had a horrible conversation with Jordan about how like I just compare everything to Bremerton because my brain is just stuck in small town, you know. So, and then I was talking to him about it, and I was like, this is where the people live. Like, so when I go other places,
where the
and
people
I see
live,
other
bro.
people living there, or they don't know where Bremerton is. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know where Bremerton is?
Yeah, nobody
That's
knows.
where the
Nobody
people
outside
live.
here
No,
know
because
where
it doesn't
Bremerton
exist
is.
and it's
Yeah.
completely insignificant. But
Maybe Tacoma.
But in my brain, like, that's where the people live. What do you mean you don't know where Bremerton is? But it's not.
So, like-
people live everywhere other place besides Bremerton.
Tacoma, the size of Tacoma is like a pretty large hamlet of Long Island, like Hempstead, someplace like that.
It's like
where
one. It's like a
yeah.
big town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. So, for reference, the overall, and this is just like the full Seattle metropolitan area,
Yeah.
is 5,872 square miles.
Okay.
And what's the population density?
Just over 4 million. 4.1.
Okay, so 4.1.
And then New York City is over 13,000 square miles.
Almost 3 times as big.
Yeah.
Almost 3 times the size.
And
Oh, it indeed was so for us. It didn't even say the density. It just told you how many people
Yes.
there are
yeah, so this is 5,318 square miles
per square mile.
per square mile.
What's the population of the New York City metropolitan area?
Population.
8.8 or something?
19.7.
Whoa! Yeah, because within the city proper, because the metro area includes like parts of
Long
like
Island,
Long
New
Island,
Jersey,
yeah.
So the
parts
pop-
of Connecticut.
It's the whole
Right.
city, though.
Yeah.
I mean, these are.
If we're just talking the 5 boroughs, how many is is that for the 5 boroughs?
That's the whole area to include everybody. 8.4 million in New York City, just the proper
Yeah,
city
that's-
as of 2001.
Even still, that's 3
It's probably
million.
less than
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I think it's 8. I heard 8.8 yesterday because that was part
Oh,
of Louis Rossman's thing about the bikes. Is how. But how many people live in Washington State as a whole?
I think like 3 million.
No, Seattle said 4. It's,
So 4 million.
Yeah.
Let's see, Washington. Why did I have that number in my fucking head? 7.9.
So New
Almost
York
8
City
million.
has more people
Than
than
the entire state
Yeah.
of Washington.
Well, that makes sense once you get over the mountains, bro.
Right.
Where
Yeah,
there's
that's
fucking
true.
Real thin
nobody
over
But
there.
anywhere.
upstate New York doesn't really have a ton.
That's
of,
true.
A ton of people.
Well,
Yeah.
and the state of New York is a fraction of the size of the state of Washington.
Right? Yeah,
it's-
maybe.
It's definitely
It's big.
smaller, but it's one of the bigger East Coast states.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
But where everybody lives is such a small area.
Yeah, okay.
it's
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah.
We need to bring up. Okay, we got to actually Google this now. Okay, Washington state size.
People were like, who the fuck is this guy
Right.
they're talking about New York?
What's up, Sean? I saw your comment. Thank you, brother.
Shout out,
What's up,
Sean.
dog?
So it's 71.3 square miles for this state. New York
New York.
is 54,000.
All right, so not that much
No,
Yeah.
it's not too bad.
smaller.
But fuck, man, that's so many more people. And
Yeah.
and yeah, when you think about it, the
And a way
vast
cooler
majority is
flag.
just down in a little
Yep.
corner.
And a way cooler state flag.
Ours?
Theirs.
Or what?
Look at that, dude.
This Excelsior, bro.
Oh, we've got bare feet on our flag, dude.
That's,
Come on.
Ooh, dude, that's hot.
That's dirty, bro. Nobody wants to see. Cover up them toesies.
What?
Nobody wants to see
They
that
should
shit.
draw it a little better, though. That's pretty fucking rudimentary. I mean, I get it was like original.
That
but-
looks like clip art. I don't know if
You-
that's the
that's what
official
I'm
state
saying. Like,
flag there.
goddamn.
Well,
Dude,
although when
still.
you think about it, because it's pretty intricate, right? There's the shield thing. Like there's a bunch of stuff happening on the shield.
Justice in here, it's very, yeah.
Too bad New York
Justice,
sucks
my
now,
ass.
but then again.
The crown on the ground, fuck the king, right? Hopefully that's what that
Oh,
means.
yeah, that I didn't even really notice that. But yeah, you think about the intricacies of that, and then you have to like be able to mass produce like flags and pins and all that stuff. So it's gotta the details gotta kind of
Yeah,
chill
yeah,
out a
okay.
little bit.
Is she wearing like a Korean casino visor right there? The girl on the.
This here?
Yeah, what's
It's-
that?
She's, I think she's supposed to be
blindfolded?
Lady Justice. I think that she's,
Oh, 'cause
that's,
Justice
she's got the
is blind.
scale.
Oh, the scale. I
She's
didn't
got
notice the scale.
Yeah.
There we go.
You'd think I'd know this. I don't know if I've ever looked at it this deep before.
Me neither. And what is this fucking this like witch hat on
That's
this?
the
It's
sorting
the
cap. From Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The-
Tells
yeah.
you what house you're in.
Yeah.
It's the sorting hat, dude.
It's New York. We're gonna tell you where you belong.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right,
That
you're
tells
in-
you what
you're in
borough you're supposed to
upstater.
live in.
You're in Queens.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's fucking great.
But Long Island, man, that's the best place in New York to
Yeah.
live.
Okay.
hands
So
down.
Good
you
fucking
said
spot.
you left New York in 2011. Why did you leave? To join the army, or before that?
For the Army.
For the army.
Yep.
Why did you decide to join the army?
Is this my turn? My
Yeah.
time now? Okay.
Well, this is all your time, baby.
Well, yeah, I was in college. I didn't do too well in high school. So,
Where'd you go to college?
Farmingdale State College.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
yeah.
All right, all
What
right.
were you going to college for?
Criminal justice, I believe.
Swag. Okay.
I was like, oh, I'm going to be a cop. I took the New
Police
York City
officer.
police officer's test. I would have been able to join them, but if I didn't join the Army. But I was playing baseball. Really wanted to play baseball in college. But I had
Baseball
some
over
shoulder-
football, huh?
Oh yeah, I didn't play football my senior year of.
Played baseball instead. Were you better at baseball than at football, or you just liked it more?
I definitely was better, right? And I probably could have been more into football, but I got hurt. I hurt my knee one year, and I was like, well, I definitely want to play baseball. I was a pitcher too, so.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Tore my meniscus or something, but yeah.
The
Did
legs
something-
are just your curse, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Now when you
Yeah.
say it
Got
that
some
way.
bad genes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've heard you talk about, because you say you broke your leg another time too, so I've heard you talk about a couple of different
Yeah.
leg injuries, so that's
Yeah,
very interesting.
We can get to that because it's part of how I got out of the Army is because of my leg injury.
Oh. Okay.
So how old were you when you joined the Army?
I must have been 19 because I did a year of college and I wasn't doing very well in school because I didn't really care much for the schooling portion. I just wanted to play ball, and they were like, "Oh, well, you got to go take some of these classes to get eligible for."
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, you know what? Shoulder hurts. I'm not going pro. This is," and I've always wanted to join the Army. I had taken my ASVAB, which is the placement test.
I've taken the ASVAB 3 times actually.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was. We talked about this like just 2 episodes ago. Yeah, when I even when Jordan and I first got together, I was prepping.
He was going to the teams, bro.
I was prepping to enlist. Yeah, I was
that's what
working.
he was
There
doing.
was
I wanted to be a sniper too, so that was my dream for a long time. But
there was a recruiter that was renting our basement when I was in my senior year for the Navy, and so I was talking to him a ton, and I was like really wanted to be an EOD. I was crazy depressed, so I was like, I'm just gonna
no
go
way.
all out. Yeah, so I was working with him and was working on.
Well, then do I have a story
I
for
was
you?
up on the quals and everything for the physicals, and then I don't remember. It was when I was fucking with that same girl, so that's when I broke up with that girl. I was like, I don't think I really want to join the military, and I kept up kind of like that charade for a little while because I had talked about it so much, but I knew I wasn't really into it, so I was like, no.
this is probably not a good idea. I had the worst possible reasons for wanting to do it.
Yeah.
I don't really care about life anymore, so I'm gonna go fuck around with some bombs.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it was not a good. It was a bad time.
Healthy.
Yeah, bad time.
Oh, gee. Oh, so anyway, sorry.
Yes.
We go
Yeah,
down
so I was in
rabbit holes.
college.
What'd you get on
and,
that? Do you remember?
Like an 82.
That's
I think,
pretty
or
good.
86.
Yeah,
It was
that's
pretty
pretty
good.
good,
yeah.
So I took it when I was 17. I would hang out with this girl, and her brother or cousin or somebody was a recruiter. I remember because he had alopecia. I think that's where you don't have hair. or
Yeah,
anything.
yep.
So he couldn't deploy. So he was like a long-term recruiter.
He
was
couldn't
doing-
deploy because he had alopecia?
Yeah,
Yeah, because you're
because
not
you have no
technically.
nostril hair or anything, so
Yeah.
you can't filter dust
Oh, holy
and
shit.
stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess it was a little bit.
They go
deeper
hard
than-
when it comes to
Yeah.
like being ready for service. or not.
Combat ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was a hardcore recruiter, and I wanted to join the Army my entire life. There was no other branch. I had no interest in any other branch, any other job.
Was your dad in the military?
My dad was he was in the Navy.
Okay.
His boat was actually built up at Todd Shipyard in Seattle.
Okay.
I believe it's called Victory Shipyard now. They've changed the name. But yeah, he was in the Navy. My biological grandfather, I didn't know him, but he was a Navy guy. My dad's father was I forgot what he did in the Navy. But they're all Navy guys. They didn't really talk about their service, and
Yeah.
I didn't know my biological grandfather. But
But it was in the blood.
it was in the blood a little bit, right? I wouldn't say I come from a military family. That wouldn't be
Okay.
justified.
They just happened to all
just
be in the
happened that my
military.
dad did like his 4 years, got out, kind
Yeah.
of similar to how I
Yeah.
did. Whatever, it was just a stepping stone for him.
My dad was in the Navy too. My dad was of the time where you could go to jail or you can join the military. So he joined the Navy, you know?
Oh yeah,
So like I would never tell him like, yeah, like, my dad was like in the military. He joined the Navy.
I
But
think my dad was like a radio operator and a cook for a while, so it wasn't like he wasn't trying to do anything too crazy in there. But he was on a ship, did his tours. My whole house growing up was full of like awesome stuff from Africa and all these places he went. And he's like, yeah, I got to see the world. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like, I want,
Yeah.
But my next door neighbor, who was very influential in my life, he was in the Army officer. He was an Army Ranger for a while, not in a battalion, like, because do you understand the difference between
Kind of.
Army Rangers? So you have the Ranger tab,
Yep.
which is, it's basically a school that you go to,
Yeah.
and you get Ranger certified.
Right.
Where you have 3 Ranger battalions where they're like the dudes kicking in
Those are
doors,
the Rangers.
the actual Rangers. So you could become a Ranger, a tabbed Ranger, and you're just a dude who passed the Ranger leadership course.
You went
It's
to Ranger
essentially a
school.
leadership course.
Okay.
That's like a big kind
Exactly.
of like almost like a false valor thing a lot within the service is guys that have like gone to Ranger school, but then just went back to
have
like
no
their regular
affiliation
jobs,
other
but
than
never
that,
went out
yeah.
and deployed as
Right.
But you
a
can
ranger.
still say you're still a ranger in a sense, but
Yeah.
you're not a door kicking battalion
Yeah.
ranger, right?
Right.
Like
You
those
didn't-
dudes are hardcore.
And that's
as
when
you know.
and that's when Nate is talking about like this guy's tabbed out. Like that's what he means. Is this
So you
dude-
have a tab or a
Yeah.
scroll? Like some people will wear both. The scroll actually has like they look different, and it'll
Yeah.
say what battalion.
That's
you're
when you're in battalion.
where you'll have like a dude with his say he's 101st Airborne. If
Okay.
you're familiar with that
Yep.
patch. And yeah, so that's the scroll, and that's the tab.
Oh, okay.
So if the dude has the scroll, that means he's in one of those battalions.
Because
If he
this
has
says
the
second
tab
battalion.
only,
Okay.
he's only went to the school.
Word.
Anyway, my neighbor was a tabbed ranger. He did a bunch of other things.
Okay.
He was in Desert Storm, and then went to Afghanistan and stuff. And I'd mow his lawn when he was overseas, and I was always like, "This is what I want to do. I want to be a
Yeah.
ranger, but I wanted to be like a door kicking ranger. That's all I ever wanted to do." So instead of doing that, I went to college and tried to play baseball.
Right.
And when that didn't work out, well, my parents didn't want me doing it either.
Yeah.
My mom especially, she was just not about it. Like, and
Well,
during that
especially at
time,
that
we were in
time.
peak G. Well, maybe
Right.
not
Oh,
peak,
yeah.
but 2011. That
You're
was
nearing the
Yeah.
like it's still a very hot war.
right. People were still kicking doors in 2011.
Exactly. There were still missions going on and
Yeah.
stuff. And I knew it wasn't working out, and I really didn't feel like going back to school. I was working at a ski shop, which I loved.
A
really-
ski shop,
Yeah, ski shop
like for snow.
for snow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like for yeah. For
Well, I
snow.
wasn't.
Kayaks in the summertime, and ski and snowboard
Yeah.
rentals, equipment. I mean, that was a busy shop. It was called Snow Shed. I don't know if you've ever seen
No.
that place.
Where the fuck should people ski in New York on Long
The
Island?
whole,
just-
you gotta leave the island. There's
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to go up north a little
Yep,
bit.
yep.
But people
There's tons of
ski a
skiing
ton-
over there.
right,
Yeah,
right.
It's
Okay.
close. I mean, a couple hours each way. But
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like going up to Crystal or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not as close. But New Jersey, there's some skiing. It's crappy, but a lot of people. Vermont has some of the best skiing in the
Okay.
country, despite what people would believe.
So there's a
But
ton of people
I grew
who
up skiing in
ski.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Some of the small little Pocono Mountains. My mom had
Oh,
timeshare
yeah.
out there.
You could cross country ski in New York if you want.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
people
yeah.
would cross country ski in the golf courses all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Just
really
to get
funny.
around, fuck,
Yeah.
during the wintertime.
That's really funny.
yeah. But yeah, it wasn't working out, so I was like, I took the ASAP when I was 17, didn't join, so I still had that score. I
So good
I
for
was,
like 3 years, I think, something like that.
yeah,
right?
I think it's two years if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's changed since then, but I think it was 2 years.
I only took it in. I took it in school because you got like 3 periods off from school for taking it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So that's
Really?
the only reason I ever
Nice.
took
No,
it.
they never
Yeah.
did that for us.
Yeah, you could take it in school. So yeah, you
yeah,
you left mid first period. It was great.
Yeah, I think
Really?
when we
was
took
awesome.
it,
I got screwed then. I got host.
yeah, you did.
I want 3 periods.
Come in on a weekend
3
or some
periods over
shit.
3 years, bro. That's fucking 9 periods. That's a long time. So 9 hours, the whole
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, I think when I took mine, it was like a first period thing, and that was it. It was really quick, and I think it was like first thing in the morning. I remember doing that. But that was like when you took it at school, which
Right.
was only like you could only do that once a year thing.
They
and then
stopped that. Yeah.
going to schools.
Yeah, I had
Oh,
to take
shit.
mine in an armory. Like I went
Go up
into
to Fort
an
Drum or
actual-
something.
Well, I graduated.
No, there used to be an armory out in Patchogue, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Well, I graduated 2013. So the first year that I would have taken it in school would have been 2010, 2011.
Huh.
And then I
Yeah,
took
they
it every
didn't-
year
They
after
didn't have
that.
it like that back, and maybe that was
yeah.
just like a state thing.
Uniform dogs and everything. I mean, the military.
They'd come into the school and,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
they were
wouldn't,
hard recruited in my school.
I wouldn't be surprised with just our proximity to the shipyards and everything that there's maybe a little more. Maybe I don't even
and
know.
my
I have
area
no
had
idea.
no military in it at all. Like
Yeah.
maybe you'd see a Black Hawk flying over from the airport or something.
Yeah, because
but
the high school.
nothing like this area has with their Navy
Yeah.
affiliation. Or
And-
even
Because
the
we got
Army base, not too far
Indian
away.
Island, and then you got Joint Base down there. I mean,
Banger,
there's just shit
PSNS,
everywhere.
Fort Lewis, McCord
Yeah.
Air Force
Yeah.
Base,
and the high school I went
Whidbey.
to. Was,
Oh, you think you said Whidbey?
Whidbey and Indian Island.
yeah.
What's
Oh, yeah.
Indian Island? Is that Coasties?
No, that's Air Force, I think.
I don't actually know. It's deep out there.
Also on the
Yeah.
other side, you have that big air base out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what is Indian Island?
It's
I
just
think
a military base.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's the
Oh,
only
there's a
thing that-
Navy
There's Navy
exchange.
Exchange out there.
Yeah.
And-
You drive on it for a moment to go out to Fort Flagler. So you drive
Yeah,
here
Bank,
and then
go
around
down.
it and then on to Marrowstone Island.
Yeah.
And so there's
Is that where
signs-
Flagler's on?
is on Marrowstone out
And
here.
that's where all
Yeah.
those brick kind of batteries are, right? Or
So
the
there's
cement
Fort
batteries.
Warden also.
That's Warden.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Warden is
that's
the big
what I'm
ones, and
thinking of,
Fort
yeah.
Flagler does have some stuff, but it's more World War One stuff. So they're older, smaller.
Okay, I've been to
bunkers.
Warden a bunch of times.
Yeah, Warden is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Flagler stuff is just, it's smaller.
Maybe-
It's
now I'm
cool.
getting confused. Yeah, you can go into them and underneath them. They're old like artillery barrage.
Yeah, old batteries and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Indian Island is just
Just a
a
base.
base. I mean,
Can you
could
zoom
tell.
out a bit so I can kind of see where it is?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
so
definitely
there's
been there.
there's
I've
Port
definitely been
Townsend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's Fort Warden out here on this point. And then
And Warden has the
has big bunkers that you can with huge
okay.
doors and you can
and the
walk
campground
in and
right
there's-
there
yes,
too. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
And,
I've been there many times.
and Flagler has camping too, but they're separated.
Okay. I don't
and
think I've been to
the
Flagler.
bunkers they have at Flagler are much smaller,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just kind of in the ground, and they're just kind of hallways that you can walk around. So they're like word batteries there for big anti-aircraft guns that are long gone.
William Wallace says Indian Island is a naval.
Naval
There you
ammo
go.
base.
Navy base.
Shout
Okay.
out Will Wallace.
Wallace.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, you could tell by all the little
Yeah.
Yeah.
cutouts like that. There's only one thing cooking on that base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of ammo.
Bunch
huh?
of boom booms.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, we're surrounded out here, man.
Yeah.
It's just
Nothing like
but
that where I'm at.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if because of that, the schools
Yeah.
are just a little more like, fuck it.
Yeah.
The amount of people whose parents are in the military or work in the shipyard in the high schools here.
Oh,
is-
everyone's connected in some way.
It's
out here. Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially like Jordan's dad is one of the higher ups in the shipyard now, and the amount of people that we run into, they're like, "Oh, I work for your dad," or like I work with your
Yeah.
dad. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's just, I don't work there, so I don't have a good idea of the scale of the shipyard. But I know just from how many people I know that work there, it's an immense procedure or operation going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and it's 24 hours a day and shit, so it's just constantly fucking
Probably the
churning.
biggest
Oh, yeah.
shipyard on the West Coast, if
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
So what brought you? How did you end up out here?
Okay, so yeah,
Right. Joined the army in
I
2011.
joined the Army in 2011, and like I said, I wanted to be a Ranger, right? But
Yeah.
I did really good on my ASVAB, and they were like, "Hey, we'll give you like 80 G's if you want to be an EOD tech."
Oh,
And I was like,
shit.
"Ooh, I get to save lives," because at the time I was a volunteer firefighter. And I got
Okay.
really into that. I was doing that for like almost a year, and it was all like New York City firemen who were there for 9/11. Some of the faces that were in that firehouse were dudes in some of the videos about 9/11. And when that rolled around, like they get super emotional about it. And
Oh yeah.
being in New York when that happened,
Right.
I just like I want to go over there. I want to kill some of those people and shit.
There was a lot of that going around back
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
I could take out some ragheads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
exactly.
like in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
Oh, I bet.
It was wild.
Yeah.
We're
I was
as far
9 years
away
old when that happened. And
We're as far
in
away from
school.
it as you can get, and it was fucking like that
Yeah.
out
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So I can't imagine. Yeah. if
You
we-
literally couldn't get farther
like
away from it.
memorials
Right.
everywhere, parades for. I mean, there's so many people.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, they were like, "Hey, we'll give you this bonus." I forgot how much it was, but it was enough money where I was like, "All right, EOD." They're like, "Yeah, we can get have you sign a contract where you'll get attached to like a special forces team."
Right.
And it's
There you go.
only up from there.
It's pretty fucking
And-
badass too.
And yeah, exactly. And that's what I thought. I was like, "This is badass. This is a
Yeah.
good job. It'll be good for my career when I get out. I could go disarm bombs in a police department and do nothing
Right.
all day and make good money."
Had that movie come out yet with
The Hurt Locker?
The Hurt Locker. Did
Yeah,
it come out already?
it had
Did-
just
nice.
come out.
There you go.
And I actually hadn't seen it, right? And when I signed up for it, I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to watch this because
Nah.
like
We don't need-
I've
we
seen
don't need to do
scenes
this.
and I'm like, I don't want to get swayed or whatever."
Right.
Good fucking
So
movie.
yeah,
too.
I go to basic training and go over to EOD AIT, which you have to go through this Army version before you go to the Navy.
Right. Because the Navy runs
There's
the
only
EOD,
one
right.
school, right? The Feds go there, everyone goes there.
And the Navy runs it.
Yeah.
And the Navy
Oh,
runs
shit.
it. Yep, it's in Eglin Air Force Base down in Florida.
I did not
Yeah,
know
there's
that.
some weird. Maybe you could explain it better because I remember we used to party with a guy who was joining the Air Force, but he was going EOD, and there was some like weird dual enlistment or switch enlistment thing that he was doing because he was going to go. I don't remember, and maybe he was fucking wrong, but yeah, the connection with the Navy complicates. Maybe that's not the right word, but
They do. The
Yeah, I don't know-
military
I
is
don't know
always
about
doing
that,
weird
yeah.
shit like
I
that.
don't know.
They're always
But-
doing weird
So
shit
we
like
were
that.
also partying, so we may have just been really fucked up.
And there, people throw like weird stories
Yeah.
about because I failed anyway. I failed out of EOD school, not realizing that 97 or something
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
percent. I got 100 on every test, every written test, and I was putting a blasting cap on some det cord for a controlled detonation, just like blasting cap. You put on the det cord and then shove that guy into the C4. And when I was doing it, you do it away from your body behind you, and the crimper slipped in my hand, and I dropped the blasting cap and it hit the ground, and they were like, all right, you failed 16 points for rough handling of explosives. Ooh. You need 85s to pass, so automatic fail.
Damn.
And that was a one and done for me, and that was it.
Yeah.
That EOD was done for me. And I'm like, how does this make any sense?
Right.
This is why you have a building with 400 people in it who failed EOD, and there were dudes there for years trying to get reclassed. Mm-hmm. And we all have top secret clearances or interim because they were, still investigating us at the time.
Right.
Yeah. We weren't in the Army for that long at the time. And I'm like, how stupid is this?
Because there are dudes requalifying every year, right? Also, or every so often, do they have to take?
No. In my building, it was just kids.
Okay.
There was like 30 people who were going to the next class. There were a few people who were enrolled, and then there were hundreds of people who had already failed. And it was just they would throw this bonus out, knowing most people wouldn't get it. Mm-hmm. The whole program was messed up. I've heard since it's changed, it's not as high of a failure yet.
Yeah.
But something so little as like, I get it. I dropped an explosive. Wasn't even a live explosive. This was an inert charge I was putting together.
Oh, yeah.
It was just fake. And tossed for that. Yeah. But I know kids who got turned into cooks, a million different jobs, and then they made me a Black Hawk helicopter crew chief, so I went to new AIT. Yeah, I mean...
There you go.
Probably should have signed up for that in the beginning.
Yeah, not too shabby.
I call it the best job in the best enlisted job in the Army, for sure. It was fantastic.
You were flying helicopters.
I was the door gunner, essentially. So I got reclassed, went to a new school in Virginia, Fort Eustis. Went from Fort Lee to Fort Eustis. Spent some time there. So we're in Newport News, Virginia, over by Norfolk. Yeah, however you say that word.
Norfolk, Virginia.
So yeah, got to go to Virginia Beach on the weekends and stuff. Beautiful area. Oh, man, hot as hell.
Terrible.
High humidity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, terrible getting to go.
That's nothing but fucking swamplands, man. It's all built up with like cities and communities now. Yeah. But you feel the swamp
hot,
when the summer comes in. Oh.
But it's nice though. I get to go to the beach on the weekend and take public transit everywhere. They had a pretty good.
It's a good party town too. It's a good scene down there.
I wasn't 21 yet, man. It was such a pain.
Oh, that's the worst.
So yeah, did that for a while. They teach you how to. You start by learning how to fix helicopters. Nothing to do with flying. Mm-hmm. You're a mechanic, right? So you're not called a crew chief yet. You're just a mechanic. You get out here. I got sent to Fort Lewis, my only place I was stationed my whole time. I got really lucky because there's a lot of worse places to be stationed in the Army.
Yeah.
Or any other branch.
Yeah, you could be stationed in Yakima.
Yeah.
That training base out there is just in the middle of a fucking
felt like
desert.
I was stationed there for a while. I would train out in Yakima constantly.
Yeah. You drive out to
Ellensburg?
Ellensburg or something like that. It's Yakima Training Center.
Yeah.
And you see the big signs, then there's a big exit, and you don't see shit as far as you could see, but it's out there.
It's wild how much that place looks like Afghanistan.
And you were training out there to simulate the conditions of Afghanistan?
Pretty much. It's at a higher altitude, not as high as... when we want to simulate that kind of altitude, because obviously in helicopters, altitude matters. They handle a lot different weight restrictions and stuff. We'd go out to a place in Idaho, out in Boise, Mountain Home, Idaho, like just north or south of Boise, very close.
And fly through the mountains out there.
And fly up there. They called it HAM. It's High Altitude Mountain Environment Training Center.
You just showed me a video.
C-130s or whatever.
Yeah, flying like right by the highway up to Leavenworth.
Yeah, going over Snoqualmie Pass, like in that fucking.
And I was gonna say this last time while you guys were talking about that. That's because going eastbound, there's no height restriction when you're next to that road there. So we used to fly underneath it and wave the truckers and shit. Because going that way, if you're coming west, you have to be 1,100 feet or above. Mm-hmm. But for military going that way, there's no height restriction because you can fly in that valley off to the right and over the lake out there.
Yeah, low as fuck.
Yeah,
it
was always fun flying down that road, man. I love doing that.
Because we were talking about being if you're driving on that road, all of a sudden there's this giant fucking plane coming right at you.
Louder than tits
coming
up
shit.
I had my machine gun out one day, and I'm doing this. I'm sitting over my window straddled, put my foot on the tire on the outside, and I'm doing this to a trucker, and he's like, he starts pulling his horn out.
That's like
hell
awesome.
Yeah, dude, that's so cool. Oh man,
so you got stationed at the Joint Base?
Mm-hmm. Got stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord. was in a maintenance company here for a while where I was just wrenching on aircraft. That was the only thing I did.
Is it mostly like Blackhawks or?
So I was in a Black Hawk battalion.
Okay.
Only Black Hawks, right? I was in 2158 AHB. AHB stands for Attack Helicopter Battalion, or I'm sorry, not attack, Assault Helicopter Battalion.
Okay.
So we would do like the Huey style, just dudes inside,
Oh,
would hit the
nice.
ground, they'd run out, and that was it. We'd pick up and go do it again. But I started as a mechanic. When I went to Afghanistan, we had lost an aircraft and lost an air crew, and I volunteered. I was like, I already had my upslip, which is the medical screening that allows you to fly, saying like, yeah, your head's not going to explode with the pressure, whatever. You're not blind or this or that.
Don't have flat feet.
Yeah, right.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
You can't fly. You have flat feet.
I don't know.
That's the type of stuff that they.
I'm sure.
Say. Yeah.
You don't have nose hair. Yeah,
Well, at that, I kind of feel like you gotta be able to decipher.
I'm just talking shit.
But yeah, they lost that aircraft, and while we were over there, and I volunteered. I was like, hey, I'd love to do that. Sounds like a great job. So they trained me while we were down there, and was in Afghanistan for like 8 months, just doing missions, man. Just dropping infantry guys off here or there. A lot of SF type dudes, a lot of Green Berets who are working with local police. So nothing too crazy. I wasn't like in Laos cutting desert or jungle floor open, doing heavy machine gun fire. Nothing like that. The war was kind of chill when I got there, but it would get heated every now and then.
Oh yeah, as they did.
Yeah, and then after that, came back, was in the same unit for a while, and broke my leg skiing.
Ooh.
Really
Like a
was.
true New Yorker?
True New
Yeah.
Yorker, yeah.
Where were you skiing at?
I was up at Aplantal at the time.
Where is
Familiar with
that?
It's up at Snoqualmie Pass.
Okay.
But it's on the other side of the highway, so it's owned by Snoqualmie.
Oh.
But you don't see it from the road.
Okay.
It's called Aplantal. It's a lot taller, a lot steeper. It's more
Great place to break your leg.
more extreme.
More higher rated, whatever, because there's different classifications for mountains, right? Like for
Yeah,
slopes?
for
Yeah.
slopes.
Yeah,
There's
there's the-
green is easy, blue square is like moderate, and then there's diamond, which is hard, double diamond, super hard, and then there's like
Black diamond, right?
Yeah, black
Which is
diamond,
like
yep.
the shit of the shit of the shit.
Yeah, black diamond.
like a double
it's-
black is like, hey, you could if you.
Yeah,
you're
you
gonna-
better fucking know
you
what you're
could die.
doing.
Yeah.
You get down to certain slopes, you go, oh shit, I don't know about. I'm just gonna slide nice and easy down here, so I don't
Yeah.
kill myself.
And then there's like gates where you could certain gates you get out, and then you're in non-patrolled kind of just backcountry. You just use the lift to get you up to the ridgeline, and you hike the top. And I did some of that
Yeah,
with one of my other accomplished skier friends. I was a very
No
very
shit.
good skier.
nice.
Skiing since I was like 5 years old.
Until you weren't.
So I wasn't.
Yeah.
This year though, we're getting back
I was
into
gonna
it.
say, can
Oh, yeah,
you
there's
ski
Alpenpole right
now,
there.
even though you've?
Oh yeah, I can physically ski. I'm still
Yeah.
a better skier than I'm not gonna struggle getting down. It's just I can't go as hard as I used to.
Yeah.
And ski, not snowboard.
Skiing on a snowboard.
Ski,
not
not snowboard.
Oh, ski. Yeah,
Yeah.
not a snowboarder.
Okay.
I snowboarded a little bit back east, but when I moved out here, it's like a green out here is like a blue or even a black sometimes out
Oh, really?
out east, depending on the area, especially in Pennsylvania where I skied a lot.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Just
like-
the size, I would imagine, of the mountains are just it's a different deal out east than it is out here.
Yeah.
You don't really see the giant fucking mountains punching through the sky like you do out here. Everything's
No.
real
Rolled.
rolling. It's. So I remember the first time my
Sounds
dad.
so boring.
It's.
It's
I like
different.
it out here.
It's different because like things are groomed out there. They don't really do much grooming out here.
Mm-hmm.
Where like the trails are as they lay.
Yeah.
A lot of the snow back east is sprayed with snow making machines, and it turns into hard pack ice.
Yeah, you don't
like
fuck.
hard pack. So it's It's faster snow. You could rip out there.
You said snow making machines?
Snow making machines,
Snow machines. They do that a lot. Like
spritzing water in the air
Yeah.
at night, and it comes down in ice crystals.
yeah,
Why are they doing that?
because doesn't
there's not enough
as
snow.
much.
yeah. It's like
Just
how
for
do they
people
make?
to enjoy?
Yeah, so people can go. Yeah, because you get a
okay,
resort
alright,
going.
alright,
They're not doing
okay.
it, like-
I'm thinking
Yeah.
neighborhoods
City
first, and
center.
that's why I was like, why? Why are they okay?
So everybody can
Okay,
go
I
sledding in
gotcha.
the streets.
Yeah.
On the mountains, I guess.
That's right.
I got you.
We
Yeah.
like
For some
creating
reason, I had
transit issues.
begun to think about like neighborhoods. Yeah, and I was
No,
like,
no,
why
they're
would they
small.
be
It's
doing
just-
that? Like, I don't understand.
Although I do support this idea. That sounds like a lot of fun, especially in
against it.
Seattle with all those slopes like that.
That's
I'm not against it. I
Yeah.
just couldn't understand why it was
Yeah.
happening. I know, maybe we should do it. Okay, that makes more sense. That's really interesting. That's where they're making snow out there.
Yeah, a lot of times.
They do it out here too.
Yeah,
They definitely
it-
do it out
it
here.
depends.
So,
I've seen them
especially
going
at
up
Crystal towards the
Snoqualmie
bottom
before.
of the mountain. They don't get as much snow as the top, so they have to make snow.
Yeah.
A lot of years, and it varies by year. Like even out there, sometimes they don't need to make as much snow as. But with the way the environment's been, whether we're doing it or not, it
Which is different.
Does that
just- yeah.
change the cost of like the passes to go skiing if they have to make more snow one year? Is it going to be more expensive
Well,
to go
Oh, they
skiing?
break you anyways, man.
yeah,
Shit.
it goes up every year anyway.
Right.
It's always just super expensive,
Yeah.
no matter what time of year it is. Really.
Right. Is this was
But
like
I don't
150
think
bucks, something
so.
like that, right? It's not.
Oh man, I don't even remember how much a.
Let's look it up.
Let's do
I
it
think a Crystal ticket now is like $120 for a
Yeah.
day.
for a day.
I was just looking at season passes this year. The one I wanted was $1,800
So we'll go.
And the day pass just gets you like a lift ticket and entrance
for
to the
day.
mountain.
That is it.
yeah.
And you have to buy parking on top of it a lot of times. It's become very untouchable for a lot of people.
The parking thing is weird. I've seen
It's
people
super
like
weird.
park on the road and shit like that, and then also there's like the big lot. I only went snowboarding one time. My sister drove me and her boyfriend and one of her other friends up there, and they took me up to the top of the mountain, and then they said, "Bye."
Bye.
Yeah, and so I've like
I've done that to
Spend
somebody really hardcore once.
hours working my way down the. It wasn't like wild, like it wasn't a crazy slope. It just was at the very top, so it just took me fucking forever to get down. You know.
I went early season with 3 buddies of mine. One, another good skier, and then 2 who've never touched snow in their life. One's from Georgia, the other from Southern Virginia. And it was
Never
up
touched
at.
snow.
Have you skied at all, Colin?
Snowboarding.
Okay.
For a lot of years when I was younger.
You've been to Crystal?
I've been to Chris. Never skied there though. We stayed up there for like a vacation one year or something like that.
There's this big bowl that's very steep on the front side. And then on the back, there's a nice leisurely trail that you can get down if you go up to that area.
Yeah.
Well, it said that nice leisurely trail was open. Apparently, it was not open that day. So my first time ski friends had this 2,000-foot descent down this. I mean, I'm talking.
Whoa.
Just completely hosed these dudes.
That's
Oh,
rough
God.
business.
They got down once that day, did not go back
They're
up.
like, not
I
doing
probably
it.
lapped them 30 times. And there's nothing I could do to help them.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
you're just going to have to
You just have
get
to
down the
figure
way
it
you
out.
can.
Yeah. And I eventually was, I was doing okay, but that first trip down the mountain took an awful long time. I think maybe I only went up like 2 more times after that. But
And you got more than they did. And you were snowboarding or skiing?
I was snowboarding.
Yeah, so you were sore as shit the next
Oh,
day.
the
'cause
next day I couldn't believe it. I
beginner
woke up,
snowboarders spend more time on their ass than
Yes.
they do
Oh, yeah.
on the
Yes.
skis.
Yes,
I-
can confirm.
I couldn't believe how
Oh,
sore
that's
I
decent
was.
prices for Snoqualmie.
Yeah, I figured the Snoqualmie would be like the cheapest.
Yeah,
I
for
think it's
sure.
the cheapest
It's
one
the
around.
It's the least good terrain I get. Like,
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
Twilight Pass.
Yeah, so that's like at night, I guess. I'm assuming.
Yep.
And then, but yeah, I mean, $800 for a season pass. But then you still got to buy lift tickets and things every time you go up, right?
No, for a season pass, that's they scan your pass. That's your lift ticket for the year.
Oh, okay.
There might be some blackout dates on some of them, but maybe for your unlimited.
Yeah.
I had that year. I had an unlimited to the Snoqualmie area, and that gets you into Aplental too, because it's the same company.
Yeah, because there's 4, I think. It's like East, Central, West, and Alpental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's not a bad deal.
I've actually never skied on the Snoqualmie side of it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably not
But,
worth it, to be honest.
Only the backside for the real cool guys.
I was
right, bro.
boozing up. It was, man, I had a PT test that morning, right? So I did a bunch of shit that morning, worked all day. I was at the time I would sleep in the back of my Jeep and stay up there all weekend. Just
Up in the mountain?
Yeah, I was a true ski bum.
Nice.
So I was tired, whatever, and I was drinking. It was like 9:30. They were the lifts closed at 10. It's all night skiing under light.
Yeah.
which is super fun.
Super. Oh, I love night
Yeah.
skiing.
Our barber's really into. He got crazy into snowboarding this year. Saw tons of snowboarding from Paul. Yeah.
Paul, nice.
Yeah,
Paul's
tons
getting
of
into
night
all sorts of
snowboarding.
shit, man. Jeez.
Making money over there cutting hair.
Oh, dude, why did I cut my own hair? Because the prices have gone up so insanely.
Yeah, it's not cheap for Paul to cut my hair. I do for a lot of reasons. I fuck with Paul. I think he's a great guy. You know, but he also does a fucking great job.
2023,
and
bro.
I don't
It's
have
fine.
to go
Yeah, I mean,
back.
it's fine.
I don't have to go and see Paul as frequently as if I go and get my
Yeah.
hair cut somewhere else.
You
He
should
does a
just-
great job.
He's such a.
I know.
Yeah,
I
he's-
know.
he has such good hair.
I'm thinking about it all the time.
That's your next class, I think, right?
That's what you said.
I don't know. It's
yeah.
not tactical.
I know. I've been trying to think of something that I could, and I'm sure there's something. But yeah, I've been trying to think of something that I can teach for the lunchtime lesson on the shooting days because
you
we
go.
did Nate did the great metal course. Brian just did this radio thing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and
Everybody's got to bring something to the Ambleman, right?
Yeah.
I'm making Riley teach a weapons maintenance class because his pistol.
Oh, I haven't told anybody about this.
Should we say it out loud? I feel kind of.
Oh,
bad.
no,
I'm throwing
we're
him under
absolutely
the bus
calling
right
him
now.
out.
Yeah, that's true.
Riley, who's
But it's for a good reason because
Yeah.
he trains so much.
he's probably the most proficient shooter of the group,
100%.
and especially in pistol. And he went to run his first rep on the pistol and just had like a dead trigger. It was just like a thud, and it sounded weird when he was doing it. Didn't have the proper click, and so he went and he took his gun apart and he took the striker out. That's like a Glock as a
Which
striker
is,
fired
that's
pistol.
not part of your standard
No,
cleaning. That's
I
like
don't-
a true disassembly clean.
I've never done that before with my Glock. I haven't. It just
Yeah.
I haven't done. I have
Never even thought about
No.
cleaning that part.
got like maybe I don't know 2,500 3K rounds through it, so I've never even considered opening up the back part. It is a lot of money.
Yeah, when you think about it, yeah.
yeah,
Jeez.
and so
Just
he
don't do the math.
he took it apart, and there's a spring that goes around the striker, and the spring was immobile because it was so caked with
Unbelievable.
carbon and just dirtiness. So that was bad. But he was saying that like the scariest part of all is that he's been carrying that gun for it's carry gun. So he's been carrying that gun for however long, and if he had to defend himself, the fucking trigger wouldn't have
It's
worked.
dead, and nothing would have no preventing it. Like,
No, there's
nothing. You could have done.
No, he ran multiple rounds through it, just
Crazy,
thinking
man.
it was that and nothing. It was just.
And I still have. I gotta clean mine, man.
Yeah.
I gotta take mine apart.
Oh yeah, and then we were all fucking paranoid about it because we've never considered it. And
Oh,
now
yeah.
I'm
Now
like,
everybody's
you clean
checking.
your mainspring, but
Yep.
you never go and take the striker out and clean the striker spring.
no,
Because that takes a lot. Take your back plate off. You're fully
it's a whole deal.
disassembling the
Yeah,
slide.
it's a whole deal. It
Completely
sucks.
disassembling the slide.
Man,
Usually it takes maybe 20 minutes or whatever to clean a gun. It's pretty quick.
but that's
Yeah.
that's an in-depth process.
It's a whole deal.
But how did it go from last time shot fine to not shooting at all?
Right.
Like you didn't get any problems last time. It just must have been humidity and
Something.
whole number. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's going to be a point of failure for everything like that.
Yes.
It's just at one point, it's just not going to work anymore because there's too much buildup. That last shot he had that last time or something
Right.
like that, that
Just
did it.
enough.
That was the last
Yeah.
one. And there was a few like Bronson had a squib around too. He had the bullet get stuck in his
Ooh.
barrel, and he was super duper lucky because it was far enough back that he couldn't put another round in, so he couldn't shoot anything
Yeah.
because if it would have been stuck halfway through and he would, I don't even know what would have happened. Nothing
Luckily,
good,
it's like blocks are like recoil
Yeah.
operated, so hopefully it would have dumped all the pressure out of the top of the
Yeah.
slide.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Shot
I
him
don't
like
know.
a fucking
It
dragon.
wouldn't have felt cool in his hand, that's for sure.
No.
it would have
That's
probably felt
definitely
really
true.
scary. Even if nothing broke, it would have felt super scary.
Well, he's got like Franken Glocks too.
yeah.
If he's listening,
Does some Rusto mods?
Yeah. So and then he
yeah,
had like
it's all custom shit. And,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
He had like a bottom plate fall off one of his magazines too. There was a bunch of weird shit that happened that day. A bunch of weird
Yeah, that's
stuff.
weird. But sometimes, if you ever look at like military guys' magazines, they'll tape that bottom floor
Just to
plate
keep it on there.
because
Oh, yeah.
they start bending over time, especially if you clean your inside of your magazines a lot. That
Yeah.
the Colt style aluminum mags, those bottom plates get worn out, and some of mine I could slide with a finger.
Ooh.
That's why I only use them for the range days. I
Yeah.
use PMags for my real setup with my real ammo in it.
Right.
It's
I
all
like
PMags.
PMags.
I love PMags.
They got a few of them over there.
They're good.
They're kind of underneath all the boxes and stuff. But there's probably a box of like, I don't know, 30 of them over there.
They just always
Nice.
run good,
Oh yeah.
They load easy.
Gen 2 PMags I love. I just got a bunch of Gen 3 windowed, but they've got the what do they call, like over insertion tab on them. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
they get stuck on
Interesting.
things. So I like the Gen 2s myself.
Right.
Yeah. Well, fascinating. Well, I'm just trying to think. Because I'm like thinking through all that stuff in my mind now, and there are so many little things that just over time and regular wear and tear that you wouldn't normally think of that are going to start going wrong with your whole kit. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just
Especially internals of guns, like
because
rifles
there's
and
so
stuff.
many
worries me
moving
now
fucking
with the
parts,
laws.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a huge. We talk about that. It's got to be every time we go out to the range, and we talk about that. Allegedly, when we're talking about trips to other places that we're going, because to not be able to buy a replacement part for the gun that I have, that's a problem.
It's a huge problem.
I should be able to have an operating tool if I own it, you know,
And safe.
Yes.
Some of this is a safety issue too.
Right.
You start getting a Glock that's a little worn out. I mean, things are going to go wrong.
Or a PC or bullet carrier group that has a crack in it, you know, like that might be fine for
Gonna
now.
explode.
Like,
Yeah.
But it's not safe to continue to shoot that because it could explode just in the recoil. You could fuck up your whole gun. Like you get stuck in there, a piece of it stuck in there, and ruin a gun that was worth however much you spent on it. You know, that could be as cheap as a couple $100 to fucking $4,000 or whatever.
Just a
people
trigger
spend.
spring.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people spend
Can't get
$200-$300 just on triggers, and so if that gets fucked up, like there's a lot of very small. If you're taking apart, when I was building that lower, there are so many tiny springs and like stoppers on there that if you lose one, like it won't work anymore. It's there for a reason, you know, and it will stop working if you lose it.
the safety detent spring.
Yes.
That little thing, dude. You lose that, it's like almost microscopic.
I mean, it's
What
the
the
width.
fuck?
It's the width of the pen insert, and then there's a tiny gold stopper or like a D10 thing that goes on it, and you have to put that in there and then put like a cap over it, and then put this together. Yeah,
it's held on by the grip of the AR.
It's horrible.
And
It's
see, that's
horrible.
what, like, you don't have that problem with an AK, right? Like with
There's other-
Eastern-made guns and stuff like that?
I don't know enough about them to know.
Yeah, I don't know the inner,
Yeah.
but
Because it just seems like there's
The pieces
so
are bigger.
many,
Yeah.
so many parts that anything could go wrong at any time.
Yeah.
There's so many little moving pieces like that when one of them breaks, you're screwed at that point until you replace that part.
Yeah.
And it's all these little parts that you don't think of all the time, not regular maintenance or something. And I mean, every spring has got a lifetime.
yeah, that's
Right.
true.
Every spring's got a lifetime.
And I don't have.
The spring we're talking, it does really, that'll never go bad in your entire
No.
life.
But if you were taking it apart for some reason and you lost it, you know,
Which I have done.
then
Oh!
I almost lost two springs just putting it together because if you have whatever holds it on there and then you take it off for a second, it just fucking shoots out, you know. So I got lucky. They got stuck
lost so
in
many
the crack
fucking
of our
springs like
floor,
that.
and Trent was able to find him. But yeah, I almost lost two of the springs to the lower just trying to put it together. So and then I would have been fucked. So
Yes, you would
it's,
have.
it's that simple.
Try
you know?
finding that spring replacement part.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough to find them little things.
Oh yeah. You just have to buy a
I
whole
bought a
new lower
bunch
parts
when I
kit.
ordered.
Yeah.
You just buy a whole new lower parts kit, and then which is like fine because then you have extra pieces. But you
They're
also
like 2 cents these springs.
yeah, right. But you also only need one spring, and you have like the cheapest one that I got was on sale and was like good rules, was like $60, you know. And you can get
For
cheaper
a lower
ones.
parts kit?
Yeah, and you can get cheaper ones, but they're not good at parts. They're way more likely to break. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to buy another one sooner probably.
Have the same problem that you're
Yeah.
trying to fix now.
Yeah, so I had like an upgraded lower parts kit that I found on sale, so I got it for $60. But
That's
I think
what
it was
worries me about
usually-
the AR, the
Yeah.
lower I use. You feel that
Yes.
trigger. It's all that shit's proprietary. I can't use a standard lower parts kit. I
Right.
could swap one out into it, but say I just want to replace that trigger spring. It's starting to get weak over time.
right.
Like that's a 9-year-old lower, maybe even 10-year-old lower I've had now, and I've had God knows how many
Right.
rounds and dry fire trigger pulls. I probably need to replace that spring, but I can't just use a standard AR
Right.
lower. So I'll probably end up one day having to swap a standard lower parts kit into it, and then I won't have that super quick trigger finger
That
anymore.
juicy-
For the cheating.
Yeah. Well, I know I already mentioned about like the bulk hero groups. Riley's had multiple bolts break when he's been out and had to replace them, you know.
Yeah.
And shit like that.
Well,
I mean,
it seems to be a
he's
trend
also-
with that brand.
Yeah, the arrow
And he
pieces that
shoots
he's been-
suppressed, which
Yeah, it's tougher on his gun, but
So it's an arrow precision.
yeah, the bulk hero group that he was using.
Because that's
So-
supposed to be pretty top quality stuff, right?
it's like
middle
yeah,
of the road.
middle, yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely stuff that people consider higher end, but they're like
Certainly.
they're probably the first level of what people would consider duty grade. I'd
Oh,
say.
okay.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I would
good
carry
quality
this
stuff.
for, but those bolts, man, he's not the first guy to have problems with them.
Right.
And his first one broke when it wasn't suppressed, so I can't use that as a Yeah, Sean says beware of arrow bolts for
yeah,
sure.
and
dude.
that's what I have in that 12.5 that I built. And I was all jazzed on it, and then I was talking around. I was like, "Fuck, maybe I have to." But it was too late then. It was like, that was right before it closed out, you know. And so now, yeah, I have to. I mean, I can't do anything. Allegedly, the only thing you could do would be to.
Well, the law was supposed to be written that you can get replacement parts for things you already have, but companies won't ship them to you.
Yeah, because
So,
they're scared of what the
here's the
law
gray
They don't want to
area.
get jammed up either.
Right.
But
some companies,
you don't have to worry. You know, whatever.
some companies still will, you know, and that's.
Oh, will they?
There are some companies that are still
The Unk?
with the magazines too. Yeah, that are just kind of operating in the mindset that like if it goes in the cart and it ships, then it ships, and if it gets to you, then it gets to you, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. You know, so
Some based ass shops out there.
they're just
Very
doing
base shops.
whatever. You know, they're just like, I don't know, I'm just selling it, I'm shipping it, I don't have any control.
You're
So-
the end user is the one who needs to deal with the legal.
That's right. It
I
makes
wish
sense.
more people worked on that because it's like it happened here, it happened here,
Yeah.
it happened here, and everywhere else is saying, "Oh, we only need a small majority of people to completely change things. It doesn't have to be fair."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's their business. If your businesses don't start fighting back, we're gonna lose our 2A rights.
Oh, yeah.
It has to start with the people, but it has to go. The businesses have to wake up and be. Not all of you are gonna sell to the government.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Arrow, they don't sell to the government. Not in the batches like D&D and those other companies.
I wonder if
do.
Phoenix Ammunition does, because I follow their Twitter account. They're fucking.
They're pretty based.
Fire.
I wouldn't. I mean, you mean if they would ship here, or if they
If
sell
they
to
would,
the government?
if they would sell to the government, I wonder if they're government contractors.
I don't know. I know
They
they
seem
do a
like
lot of
small
they
enough
do a lot of
operation.
competition stuff.
Yeah.
yeah. Because they make like high quality match grade shit. So,
So
that's-
They're
yeah.
probably not selling it.
well,
to
they have
the government.
they differentiate like this is like our match grade and this is their like your training shit. So they
Oh,
make
okay.
they make good quality stuff, and that seems to be kind of what they lean towards. They have a lot of like competition pictures and stuff on their webpage the last time I was on there. So because I've
I
bought
don't know if
some
I've ever
stuff
bought from
them.
Phoenix before.
I think I've bought a bag of shit from them before.
They're a fucking great Twitter follow,
Yeah,
man.
'cause I've
They
been-
spit fire,
Yeah.
tons
Yeah.
of cool
'Cause
videos.
I get their emails and stuff. I've been following them for a long time. So
Yeah.
I think that maybe pre-COVID or during, not pre, but during COVID, I might have bought some shit from them.
Probably. Yeah, because they were like, yeah, we're not going to fucking shut down. We're going to
Right.
keep pushing. This is not how this goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good fuck the government type of posts on there. I'm a big fan.
If I'm not mistaken, there was a company, and I think it might be Phoenix, that the government wanted some like special rate on a bunch of shit. It was like a police department, and they were like, no, and you'd have to wait in line just for the big orders, like all the smaller shops would do.
Right.
I think that was Phoenix.
I wouldn't be
But
surprised.
I just buy the cheapest shit I
yeah.
can find on Ammo
Yeah.
Geek at this point.
Sean
there's-
says they don't, specifically for sieves.
There you go.
Fucking A.
And there's
Based.
a few other companies, very few other companies that like T-Rex Arms is one. They won't sell body armor and like full-size magazines to law enforcement in states where the civilians can't own them. You know, so in Washington they wouldn't sell 30-round PMags to the sheriffs here because we can't
Good.
buy them. So there's in like New
Based.
York and stuff or wherever. I don't know. That's just I just picked a state, but whatever other states you can't buy body armor as a civilian, they won't sell it.
New Jersey,
to-
Connecticut.
So
Yeah.
I think you could still buy body armor in New York right now, if I'm not mistaken.
and I don't
Which is crazy because it's passive, dude. Like it's
Yes.
to protect you. It is
Oh, yeah.
passive.
We talked about that. I talked about it big here when they brought it
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
the first time for that same reason of
Yeah,
like
that was a
New
fun
York-
segment. We
Yeah.
wore fucking plate carriers there for an hour and a half or 2 hours.
That's
that time.
beauty. I love that.
We're doing it.
I tend to when something wild is happening like that, I'll kid up for the full show as this is for the fucking dogs. This is
Yep.
for the people that are not going to be able to do this, that are trying to take this away. Like I'll kid up the whole show, you know, just a little tribute. Just a
I like that.
just
That's
a little
fast.
dogs. Yeah.
So I am loving this gun conversation.
Yeah.
But I do, before we close out the segment here, I do want to get back to you real quick
For sure.
because we kind of got up to the point where how you got stationed out here and what made you stay out here? We've had a lot of conversations, particularly over COVID and stuff, about like why we stay here, considering everything that's going on in the state with the laws and the regulations and all the bullshit. So what keeps you here?
Couple things. One main one. I had a boy and I got divorced, and if I wanted to be my
Oh.
child's life, I have to live here.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
worse places, I guess.
exactly. And
You're a good dad.
I love
good shit.
I love the area, man. It's completely beautiful. And I come from
Yes.
New York, so I know the bullshit regulations anyway and over regulating and stuff like that.
And we're softcore
And-
compared to New York.
Yeah, well, we're getting there.
Yeah,
we're
quickly.
If anything, we're starting to surpass, especially where I'm from.
Oh yeah,
well, if fucking Bob Ferguson becomes governor, it's going to get bad quick.
yeah. That'll be that'll be something to think about.
Yeah, and my idea too is like if you keep running away, it's going to keep following you because that's really what's happened. Everybody running, no, I wouldn't want to even say running, but when COVID happened, all the remote workers, like they moved to Montana and stuff, and now they're flipping Montana.
Yes.
Right? And they're like, oh, well, they have a homeless problem too there. It's like, yeah, because you put them all out of work and they can't afford their houses that they've lived in for 30 years now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and you're not wrong. There were, I mean, Austin, Texas is a very good example of the flight of people who lived in California and other states that didn't agree and they lived there for X amount of years and then finally just left. And that was good to a certain point, but now the people who left there for the good are seeing the influx of the people you were talking about that are fucking it all up, you know?
And I'm hoping if I stick around long enough, people will kind of wake up and be like, "Oh shit, maybe not giving out free needles is a good way to have spend my city tax dollars," and it'll start maybe flopping the other way, and we'll get some of our freedoms back, which it never comes back. But
yeah, they're.
I know how I live.
Yeah, once they take them, they have a hard time giving them back, don't they? They just killed them to give us our freedoms back after COVID ended. Oh, man,
I have hope. I have hope for this place because, you know,
there's enough. There's so many, like, just for lack of a better term, like good dudes out here that have like some real base values that are just in the background, and there's a fuck ton of them.
Yeah,
it's really just, you know, like there's some spillover and stuff a lot these days from Seattle. You know, cities are like cancers; they just slowly grow outwards, and all the ideologies that come with that come with it too. I mean, Paulsbo today is a fucking. I mean, it's closer to what Bainbridge Island was 10 years ago, and Bainbridge is 10 years closer to Seattle than it was. I mean, it's a wild place, and it slowly spreads out, but it hits these buffer zones, and we have little mini culture wars even in this little county about what's okay, what's not okay, and well, appreciate that.
Spread the idea, and I know you were saying that the gun thing and stuff wasn't big in your life until all that stuff started happening.
Oh, yeah.
How many more people are there like you out there? There must be
a lot,
a ton of them.
Well, even further than that, when Colin and we worked together the first time before we even started doing the show, I was borderline anti-gun. We were having, I don't remember what, I think it was the school shooting in Florida. I think is the one whatever at the school.
The Hogg that started David Hogg's career.
Yes. And so before anyone knew what David Hogg's name was, Colin and I argued for more than a day at work about guns. And even in the early days of the show, there's audio of me saying, you know, no civilian needs to own an AR-15.
Yeah.
And
that's how we started.
I'm saying that I was out with you last weekend. So I know
that's episode 1, and it's audio only.
God, maybe we need to kick someone up.
And it's not because because I was fucking radicalized into extremism or anything like that. It's because that narrative that people live under doesn't make sense. When the ideology of only police officers should have guns and only the government is here to protect us, that doesn't make sense. And that's how I was raised. And it doesn't take much common sense and much exposure to positive influence for that to change people's minds.
Yeah, just one experience can turn somebody. I mean, hopefully these riots and stuff really woke a lot of these people in this area up going, I need to be responsible for my own safety. And there is a reason to have the conversation back and forth because we don't want, freedom is dangerous, but we also don't want to be perpetuating some of the negatives with our community because there are a ton of negatives with our community.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So, reel ourselves in, and it's kind of up to us to.
People have to set a good example and live those values out in their day-to-day life.
Yes.
And
stop
eventually,
TVs.
Quit. Yeah, don't do all that dumb shit. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a time and a place for everything. We'll put it that way. And there's a place out there and a time where it's fun to like go shoot up an abandoned car in the middle of the woods somewhere. You know what I mean? Throw some tannerite in there and have some fucking fun.
Yeah.
But time and a place type of stuff. It's like the equivalent of, I don't know if I can find a good analogy, but it's not the same as getting out to the range every once a month and running drills and trying to be proficient in the tools that you're using and carrying. Sometimes it's fun to go out and blow shit up. But that's the fun side
but
of
clean
things.
Up after yourself. Don't be leaving beer cans and on your.
That shit sucks, man.
It's because they close. Where I used to shoot when I was in the Army, obviously besides the Army stuff, which shooting in the Army sucks. I'm sure you've shot in the Coast Guard before. They
Yeah.
make it miserable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't want to do it.
You were talking with Nate about that last
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Most people get that completely wrong.
I don't know. There was that video that Larry sent us that one day of him and the boys out there.
Yeah, he
fucking
looked like he was
50
having
cal
fun.
stuff.
Right, but that's what I was saying.
I've had fun,
Right.
but
But that's
not
what I
like
was saying
That's
is-
a
boys.
rarity.
Well, no, and I told you about that because that's the same guy that was like, we have 100,000 rounds to kill in a weekend. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound
By the
fun,
way, we
you
have
know?
to pick up
Yeah.
all the brass, separate the links out, and turn it in.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't sound fun.
No.
There's fun to be had there, but
That's why it's good with the helicopter. It
Yeah.
falls to the floor, and you don't have to think about it. It falls to the
Yeah.
earth, and you're done.
but when your shoulder's starting to hurt because you've been blasting for a day and a half and you still have fucking 20,000 rounds to go, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Do you guys know
Yeah.
what a Mark 19 is?
Yeah.
It's a belt-fed automatic, fully automatic grenade launcher. It shoots 40mm grenades, similar to the ones that go like in an M203 under a rifle. They're a little bit bigger. They're higher pressure.
Yeah.
Yep, that guy right there.
Oh, dude.
So, I went to a range at Fort Lewis once, and they were like 8 people. And we're gonna get 8 people to get qualified on this thing. Somebody either read the orders wrong or something, but we had thousands and thousands of rounds, which should have been probably 80 people, not 8 people.
Oh.
And you can't take anything with explosives back. I believe you could return live ammo, but not live explosive. So we had to shoot all of it, and I probably put 2,000 or 3,000 rounds through that stupid thing. And maybe other people have had a different experience. I know that the ones that get shot more run better, but ours was like brand new, not a scratch on it. Would
Not broken in yet.
Yeah, exactly. The last round always gets stuck in the breech, and you have to take one of the pins out and knock it off the breech. And like for shooting a fully automatic grenade launcher, I sure as heck did not have fun. Like it was fun at first when it's going and rock and rolling, and you could lob because it shoots a lot further than like the M203 40mm or higher pressure. You can't swap them between the two.
Oh,
You can
on the
lob those
boat,
things
dude.
like
boats, too.
1,700 yards.
Yeah.
And up at Fort Lewis, they have like old tanks and shit as targets out there. And we weren't using high explosive rounds or low explosive, so you could visually see them explode, but they're not going to
Yeah.
do much damage. I wouldn't want to get hit by one, but
Right. No.
but they're just a cheaper version for training. And just
Any problems
get
with
so
like
tired of it.
barrels overheating on something like that?
I'm not too sure. That's a great question. I don't know if they will cycle fast enough to get too hot because those boxes only hold like 30 or 40 rounds.
Oh, yeah.
And they shoot. They're like dunk, 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 dunk. They're not like really fast.
Can you change
I've
out
never even considered that.
Can you change out the barrel in it, or you don't? you
No,
don't think
that's
you would need
fixed.
to?
Yep, the whole thing recoils in. It's it's not like an M2 or like
It's
an
such a
M240.
wild looking fucking machine, dude.
It looks like a robot. Like
Yeah.
it looks like it should move by itself. You know.
They're
Give it time, baby.
I know the Marines rely on them a little bit more heavily than the Army does, and they'll use them as like mortars where they shoot them straight up in the air and use it for indirect fire, and they'll do some crazy shit with them.
Fucking rain hellfire
Yeah,
down.
it's pretty cool.
Jeez,
Just
man.
snap off this back bar. They're like, no, dip that thing down. Dog.
Yeah,
Dip that thing.
Oh, that's
but
awesome.
yeah, like you'd think that would have been a fun, super cool range day, and I'm like, oh, I hate this. Like,
Yeah.
this is just never
Well,
ending.
and this looks like a fucked up position too. If you're sitting on the ground.
Well,
like,
luckily for us, I was in like a cutout bunker, and it was like at face level,
Oh, good.
right?
Yeah, because
So-
that looks like it sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Give
how
me
you.
about
Yeah, off those
5 minutes
tripods,
of that.
50 cals too.
Yeah.
You shoot in that position. Use your feet to
brace it.
brace it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck that, dude.
Bro.
He doesn't look like he's having a good time.
No.
See, he doesn't look.
He's probably getting yelled at. What are you doing?
Now someone's taking his
Hand
picture and
upside
he's
down, like
"Fuck."
not over. Just things like that.
Yeah, I mean the military has, just in general, has a really good way to kind of suck the fun out of anything that would be fun.
Yeah.
Just through, like you're talking, we're going to go to the range and blast off 10,000 rounds. Yeah, but you also got to police all that brass, all the clips, and get it all back, every fucking one of them turned back in. It's like, well, that's
Well, and you were saying like
not fun.
that they're weighing it, like the boxes have to weigh the same, right?
Yeah, they'll weigh them, and it's like fill some cases up with dirt. So the ones we lost, because you're not going to grab every single
No,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I even at the range, like I try to police brass as best as possible. You're not going to get all of
No.
them. So I try to pick up all of mine I can find, and then I usually pick up a bunch of stuff that's just been there.
Been there, yeah.
That way you're always just
Which
kind of
where we go, they
better.
get the goblins. We call them goblins.
Oh,
All the meth heads come up there, and they.
Oh yeah,
They
We had
Right.
one
Pick it clean.
woman wait for like 8 hours for us to finish, and we probably left hundreds of dollars worth of brass in that.
Well, especially like I used to always pick up all my brass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we were doing more static shooting, it was easier because it's just like in kind of a pile.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Now that we're fucking
You're drilling and stuff,
dude. Now that we're running and gunning, some of them were running like almost 100 yards on a drill. I'm not gonna.
Nah, that's
I'm not
a little
gonna
much.
do that.
That's a little much.
Especially because.
And we picked up some because
Yeah.
now we're trying to,
Yeah.
you sold your reloading stuff
shit,
to,
but
and they-
Yeah.
but I am not as on it
Hardcore.
as I used to be. Yeah, especially because some of those drills, you're just only doing like 10 shots.
But I don't feel bad
I
about it
wanna
either
watch-
because you're helping someone else
Somebody
out.
else.
They want that brass. They'll either smelt it or I don't know if they reload it and resell it online. I don't know what they do with
yeah.
it, but they'll fight over that shit. I mean, brass is a precious metal,
She
right?
did.
Yeah.
She waited all day when we were there. The brass witch. She waited all day.
And then on the way out, you got, sorry, man, we shot steel casing today.
That's really.
That war really screwed the brass case or the steel case market.
Yeah.
Damn Ukraine. Yeah, it's like to say you could get reloaded brass now for the same price as Tula.
Oh,
It
shit.
used to be
Yeah.
super crazy cheap. Yeah, a lot of the stuff I'm almost out of it was this brass or steel Russian stuff. The stuff that Jake and I got that has like the weird purple ring around it. Super crazy cheap.
It's around the
Around the
where the
ring
throat is.
casing, yeah,
that's just sealant.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's gold, and I got it super cheap like during
yeah.
COVID.
It used to not be good. Like 10 years ago, I used to
Yeah.
shoot a lot of steel, and it was bad.
I've
Like
heard
now,
that.
I don't get any problems with any of it. It all
That's
runs
nice.
fine. Yeah,
That's nice.
Used to be where like every magazine would have 2 or 3 that,
Yeah.
like the primer would go off and wouldn't ignite the cartridge, so you got to sit there and wait, and then whatever. And now I have no problems at all.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. Well, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
I was going to, we didn't do a Let Me Ask You This today.
I have one that we can do in the beginning of
Okay.
part 2.
Well, I have a quick fun one that I
Alright.
just picked up from my new favorite show, Are You Garbage, on YouTube.
okay. You ever
and
watched Are You Garbage before?
never even heard of it.
It is fucking great.
Are you garbage?
Are You Garbage?
It is
Yeah.
2 rather rotund comedians, one more so than the other.
From deep Philly.
yeah, proper.
Oh,
Philadelphia.
nice,
Yeah.
And
nice.
they interview other comedians and ask them questions about their upbringing, that are really random stuff, but that
Yeah.
dictate their level of garbage.
Yeah. Over the years, they've built up like a pretty good list of like standardized questions, and depending on your answer, you're either classy or
Yeah.
it's trash.
It's like
yeah.
the type of grocery store that you went to, and like, do you drink milk with dinner? Like really random shit.
Yeah.
But, really random
Yeah.
stuff.
And
that,
this is
like,
one I'm really interested to hear your answer because of where you grew up. Because
Yeah.
I've just been asking everybody this now, and then it's really funny.
Oh, I'm excited. A little
it's an
nervous for
icebreaker
this
at the
one.
bar now. With that, let me ask you this.
All right, so Donovan first.
Okay.
Actually, no, guess first, just because I'm interested. Is it ground beef or is it hamburger meat?
Ground beef.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I think my mom might have said hamburger meat.
You ever living out in Long Island? I heard a lot of people call it chop meat.
Chop meat.
That was like
chop
the
meat.
thing out there, and I was
Yeah.
like, that's hella fucking classy.
But
to be
it's the
honest.
same thing, or is it different?
No,
It's the same thing.
It is the same
I'm
thing.
gonna
Yeah.
get some chop meat. It's hamburger
yeah.
or ground beef. I didn't call it ground beef until I moved out here. That's for sure.
And now it's ground beef.
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's
Chop meat is what it was called.
Okay. What about you, Donovan?
I call it ground beef, but my mom did call it hamburger meat when we were growing up.
See that? It seems to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because essentially the classy answer is, oh, it's ground beef, but the trashy answer is, no, we
hamburger
grew up and it was called hamburger meat.
Do you
know?
know what? That's so funny because we were poor when I was growing up, and there are things I have never thought about this like to make it a conscious effort, but there are some things that I'm like, I'm not doing that because we did it when we were a kid, and I just won't do that. So like hamburger helper. I even fuck with hamburger helper. I won't eat it now because
No.
we ate
It's
it
also
so much.
super
as a-
bad for you. But
Yeah.
And I'm
from what I
not. Well, I'm like.
Well, you got 2 kids, bro. It's time to make
that's-
some food.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
and I won't eat it. I won't buy it now because to me, I'm like, I'm fucking. I'm
not
The
going
army
back to that,
loves
you
giving
know?
you hamburger helper.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And I would never shit on anybody else for doing it. It's totally a personal deal. But I think that might be a subconscious. Like, I'm not poor. I don't eat hamburger meat. I eat fucking
right.
ground beef. Bitch.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
really funny.
Perfect. All right, so you both are classy individuals in your own way, based off that.
Is
single
chop meat
question.
classy?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you're talking to anybody in Long Island and they don't call it chop meat, you're like, you're not really from around here, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably get the fuck out.
That's one of the ways
It's
that you know.
Long Island is a weird place, bro. It's fucking like Trump country out there.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's a super weird mix though. It's every neighborhood is different.
It's
but-
all the construction workers and shit that work in Manhattan.
Yeah.
They all live on Long Island.
yeah.
So they're all your hardcore guys live on Long Island. So
Mm-hmm.
they influence each other.
Oh yeah.
It
One
was
day.
the same deal. You were saying the same deal about when I've heard people talk about like Staten Island was the same deal. Like that Staten
Yeah.
Island
Oh
was
yeah.
just
Staten
whole
Island is a
different-
borough, but
Yeah. It's
Staten Island is like Long Island. It's the same
Yes.
building structures and everything. It's more of suburbs than it is
You gotta
like city.
Yeah. It's you live anywhere else in New York City, no car. Staten Island, you better have a goddamn car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Because you're driving to
Totally.
the grocery store. You're driving place. It's
Even some areas in Queens
yeah.
are a bit more suburb.
Yeah, it's
Like
what-
Forest
like
Hills
the-
area, places
Yeah,
like
that's
that. Yeah.
where in-laws were from.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, spent a lot of time in Forest.
I had
Hills.
a rich friend out there. He was some Middle Eastern descent, but his dad bought him a KTM dealership. His dad owned like Porsche dealerships and stuff. And I remember first time I went to his house in Forest Hills, I had to work hard to push that front door open.
Oh yeah.
Like 12 feet tall.
Oh my
It was like a
God.
castle. I'm
Yeah,
like, wow,
there's
this
some
is-
dope. There's some dope stuff.
My family was pretty well off, especially meeting a lot of friends along the way. I've realized how well I was raised, and
I'm gonna show you real quick. We'll end on this because this is a look. There's Flushing Gardens.
We were like super house poor, you know. So we had a very nice house, but so we also ate like a ton of scrambled eggs and like hamburger helper and shit. You know, a lot of top ramen. But
Oh, yeah.
but people would come over and be like, "Your house is really nice," like because it was like a. It was just in the suburbs. It was just a nice suburban home. You know, it was not a huge home or anything, but it was like a split level home with like 3 bedrooms, and then my grandma had a place downstairs. So I had friends who like were even fucking poorer than I was, I guess, and like lived in trailer parks and stuff. And they were like, "Your house is so big. And I'm like, we're so poor. You
Dude.
don't know. I promise, we're poor."
I used to think like mine was like a normal house, and then I show people now, and I'm like, oh, well,
You're
I
like,
guess I was
oops.
way better off than I thought.
Now is this okay? There's a park over there.
Where are we at right now?
So we're in Forest Hills.
Oh, okay.
Queens College.
Yeah, let me just do this real quick. So I used to actually have their old.
It just gets bigger.
Yeah.
It's like you're already here,
Yeah.
you fucking idiot.
So yeah, I think it's these.
Yeah, with the
back
red. Yep,
here.
yep.
This shit.
He lived in like that area.
Yeah, this is where fucking money hangs out.
Oh yeah,
All these little cool like
that's it.
redstone, red brick houses and
Because
stuff
this
like
is
that.
in Queens. This is in New
Yes.
York City.
This is in New York City. This is in Queens.
Wow.
But there's like little neighborhoods that
Wow.
have.
It's like
Like-
Tacoma almost,
Yeah.
and they're about the same distance away. Like
Yeah, about.
there to Manhattan is about Tacoma
But it's really nice.
to
out here.
downtown Seattle. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you go a couple blocks away, you're in like Jamaica, so not really too nice.
Yeah.
Jamaica, Queens. Not
Jamaica,
Yeah.
Queens.
Jamaica
That's-
Plains.
Didn't mean
That's
anything
it.
like
No, no, no.
derogatory
Yeah.
by that or anything.
I had a dude try to steal my fucking tennis shoes in fucking Jamaica, Queens.
Yeah, that place. I've heard it's gotten a lot nicer. They put a lot of money
Yeah.
into
He
it.
just said, "Give me
Yeah.
your shoes."
Yeah, he's like, yo, I really like those sneaks you got on. I was like, I'm sitting there waiting for the fucking subways. Yeah, you should give those to me. I was like, nah, dude, that's not gonna happen. and it would have been an issue, but thankfully, like, just a fucking beat cop would just ended up walking by, and the dude just dipped out. I was like, oh, jeez, I almost fucking lost my shoes, bro.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been a great opening segment.
Yeah.
Brian, it's fucking great to have you in here
I'm
finally.
so happy to be here.
So,
loving it.
I'm sitting in this new chair because my fucking back is
How you
broken.
feeling? We
It's-
never asked you how you were. His
Yeah.
back's been fucked all week.
Oh yeah, I had to
Right,
lay on
you
the
said he
floor
wasn't
for
at
the
work.
last 4 days, man.
Whoa,
It was
really?
rough. Yeah, yesterday was the first day I was vertical and
What happened?
all week. Just threw my back out.
We went to the driving range on Friday.
Yeah, might have got a little hard.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
and then we did 2 big buckets, and then he got
Yeah.
a shit house on his birthday. So I think he hurt his back and then didn't feel it because he was so fucked up. you
Probably.
know?
Did you go through any tables or anything? You don't remember?
No, those are pretty thick tables.
Played the
so I don't
dildo
know.
darts,
Yeah,
too. You
we
played
played
a
the
ton of
darts.
dildo
You
darts.
know?
I got hurt
Yeah.
playing dildo darts.
And I mean,
Goddamn.
I found a real nice level of like drunkenness. 'Cause
Yeah.
I wasn't being too sloppy.
No.
But I was like having just the fucking greatest day of my life. And then again, Saturday, other than my back hurting, like I didn't even have like a hangover or anything. I
Really?
just started to feel like shit right off the bat and just nosedived from there. It was rough business. and then I was
really
just on the
surprised by
floor
that.
for days.
Oh,
It was
jeez.
terrible.
Sorry to hear that.
But yeah, my ass is getting tired from this new chair. I got to stand up and walk around for a
Get
couple
some
minutes.
beers.
Let's
go.
do it.
All right. With that, we'll be back in just a few minutes for part 2 of Salt of the Streets, episode 153.
Indeed. Give the plugs real quick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can find everything that we do at saltofthestreets.com, and of course our Patreon, patreon.com/saltofthestreets. We have our own personal social media. I am at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. Colin is at Big Bird Offie on both of those things. Well, we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready.